taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
And after 5 terrific weeks of playoff racing, the stage is set tonight. Race number 6 of the FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs takes us to the Kansas Speedway. Wait. This is FTF. I mean, there's got to be a meme involved. Welcome to the Kansas House Shieldway Speedway tonight here for 167 laps of great racing action. The Joe Nemecheck won here, 400K from Kansas this evening. Elimination race here, the last of the UFI Round of 12. 8 drivers out of the 12 eligible will roll on in to the SRA Round of 8 beginning next week, and we get to all the elimination. Big race field type here tonight, live on Full Velocity. Phil LaCasse here, along with my partners, the TODD, Too Tall Todd Stanton, and Joe Allen, as always, at the controls for us here on FVN. And Todd, what more can we say? We've seen 5 awesome races here. We've seen 2 races here in the UFI Round of 12, and it's elimination night here at the Schildhouse Speedway, or Vasshouse, or whatever you say here. We're going to sort of this meme all night long, but we get to see a fantastic show here tonight. We'll call it Kansas for 167 laps. We're going to be in for one wild show. Elimination night, you can't get better than this.
Yeah, elimination night. A lot of guys look on the outside looking in. Indeed, 4 guys on the outside looking in. But I tell you what, Phil, one thing I noticed here at Kansas House Shieldway here this evening, Kansas Speedway for that matter, it's rather warm here. And I do see a meme out there on the track also, but it is warmer here than it was at Talladega. It was freezing cold at Talladega. Now we're in Kansas and it's 70 degrees.
It's 70 degrees. It's a nice, cool 70 degrees here as the evening rolls in. No rain, hopefully, in the atmosphere here tonight. So we're going to be in for a jam-packed night here. The Kansas House Shieldway racetrack, a mile and a half that we know as Kansas here, but said it's FTF Jones Cup. There's got to be a meme involved. And I mean, just the name of the race there, Joe. The Joe Nemecheck won here once, 400K. I mean, guys at FTF always have a great time, but none aside, we're going to see an awesome race here at Kansas this evening.
Absolutely. I am super excited to get this thing underway here tonight. It's our second edition of Elimination Night, the last race of the UFI Round of 12 here this evening. And, the guys at FTF have proven all year long that they can put on some stellar and some phenomenal races, and even host the first ever Full Velocity Network rain delay as well that we had last week at Talladega. That surely shaped things up and made things even more interesting than what we're usually accustomed to. So I am certainly looking forward to this event tonight. I'll throw points up on the screen for everybody to look at real quick. As we see, Taylor Morgans has already locked himself in with a win, but we had a non-chase driver take the victory at Talladega last week, so that kind of that hindered somebody else's ability to lock themselves into the next round of the chase. But right now, 4 guys on the outside looking in. Corey Carpenter's 4 points out. Andrew Swartz is 12 points out. Blake McCandless is, I believe, 13 points out. And Matt Vassar is 21 points out. With Chris Wetz on the cutoff line right now at 4 points, guys. And Maverick Morrow, the next one in line, he's got a 12-point buffer between himself. So anything can still happen tonight. It's certainly going to be an exciting one. They visited the Kansas House Shieldway earlier this year, and it was predominantly a highline dominated track, and I know some of the drivers are expecting more of the same here tonight, but I am super excited for it. I know you guys are up in the booth as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, before we get this, festivities underway, let's throw a trackside for tonight's playing of a national anthem. And the playing of the national anthem, and thanks to Brian Wolf for that awesome rendition of the anthem there, the videos and whatnot. Brian Wolf, a big-time contributor, is here live on Full Velocity. But Todd Stanton, it is time to go under the green flag for 167 laps. The cars are on the grid. Who's going to be those 8 cars that advance into the SRA Round of 8? Well, let's find out and dive straight into tonight's starting lineup.
And tonight's starting lineup for the FTF Jones Cup Series, Joe Nemecheck won here once. 400K. Starting on the pole, driving the number 92, that's Matt Durr. And his dancing partner outside, driving the number 14, that's Colin Keister.
Row number 2, we find to the inside the driver of car number 31, that is Derek Justice, and to his outside, aboard car 71, that is Chris Wetz.
2 of the guys on the outside looking in make up the 3rd row. Driving the number 30, starting in the 5th starting position, Corey Carpenter. Outside of him, the number 17, Matt Vassar. We're going trackside.
That's the command of fire engines rolling off to row number 4. On the inside, we find driver of car number 57. That is Maverick Morrow. And to his outside, aboard car number 36, he's locked his way into next week. That'll be Taylor Morgans.
Driving the car number 9. Driving that is the Brandon Lawson, starting in the 9th starting position. And starting 10th in the number 8, that's Jordan Buster.
Row number 6 tonight, we find the driver of car number 20. Of course, the champ, David Schildhouse, rolls off 11th. And to his outside, aboard for 26, that is Kevin McAdams.
Starting in the 13th starting position, driving the number 2, that's Tom Salvain. His dancing partner to the outside, driving the number 15, that's Kyle Sherman.
15th starter tonight, we find the driver of car number 74 in a winner-go-home scenario here tonight. That is our buddy Blake McCandless, and to his outside, aboard the 39, had a great run last week. That's Arnold Columbia.
Next row back, starting in the 17th starting position, driving the number 16, that's Racing Jason Justice, and that number 16. Outside of him, driving the number 0, that's A. Ruth in the 18th starting position.
Row number 10 tonight, we find the driver of the 199, that is Brandon Hawken, and to his outside, aboard car number 28, that is Chris Barnes.
Next row back, starting in the 21st position, driving the number 76, that's Noah Carmichael. Ryan Naraki starts 22nd.
Rolling off shotgun on the field tonight, last row, we find the 83 of Noah Hart, the 67 of Andrew Swartz. Believe that's our full field, guys. The Pace semi-truck has come into the field, and for the first time tonight, for 167 laps, Todd, we are under the green flag in the field for the first time, headed toward turn 1.
Yeah, they're already down the back straightaway as quickly as you can say that. Matt Dirt down on the bottom side right now of the speedway. Flagler was sleeping on that restart. The 14 and Colin Keister working over the top side. He is right now your current race leader. He's going to be able to clear the number 92 of Matt Dirt down the front stretch.
He's going to clear him down the front stretch there as they hit the start-finish line. Put lap number 1 on the board. Colin Keister to the race lead over Matt Dirt in the 92. Derek Justice going to fall right there in line in the 3rd spot. Chris Wetz 4th. The 17 of Matt Vassar, another guy who's got to make something happen if he's going to advance into next week. He's on the move to the inside, looking for 4th into turn 3.
Yeah, Vassar's kind of in one of those must-win situations in that number 17 machine. He is the furthest out of the playoffs here, 21 points out. The number 17 of Matt Vassar in a must-win scenario there in the Western Auto throwback number 17 machine. I tell you what, it's nice to see that Western Auto sponsor on there, Phil.
Oh, gotta love the old throwback Darrell Waltrip scheme, and Matt's gonna go out there tonight, and he's gonna go out there. We know Matt, you can talk like a Darrell Waltrip, but he can certainly drive like one as well. Another car starting to pick his way forward. That Sunoco Chevrolet, the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. He's to the low side of Chris Wetz. They're racing for the 5th spot. The 30 down to the low side. Thought he was gonna complete the pass, but as Joe talked about in the spring there, Todd, the high lane dominated this racetrack, and through the opening laps looked like that might have happened again. But just as I say that, Carpenter around Wetz, and also just up in front of them, Vassar around the 31 of Justice. So we've had a race change for 3rd as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, remember Corey Carpenter just 4 points away from that cut line to make himself into the SRA Round of 8 here next week, live on the Full Velocity Network. Corey Carpenter trying to make his way into the SRA Round of 8. He's 4 points off, so we're going to be chasing that. He's the closest of those battlers on the outside looking in. So right now, Corey Carpenter running, I believe, right now in the 5th position on the speedway in the number 30. He's starting to track down the number 31 of Derek Justice for 4th.
He is right there on the tire tracks racing for that 4th spot, as you said, and also now starting to pick his way forward. believe was that the 57 on Maverick Morrow. It is. He's starting to drive his way up through the field. Maverick, one of those guys really close to the cutoff line. He's got the Oreo Chevrolet rolling up in that forward direction. He's worked his way, I believe, up to that 6th spot. Also, Taylor Morgan's a 36. If Taylor could do anything more silent, he certainly did. He's worked his way up to that 6th spot. He may look to pounce to the top 5 as they hit turn 3.
Now put the number 30, Corey Carpenter. He's finally worked his way around Derek Justice, put him into the 4th spot. Slide job maneuver there off the corner in front of Derek Justice. He's able to pay off. Here comes the 36 machine of Taylor Morgan's back down to the bottom side by side with the 31 of Derek Justice. Put Taylor Morgan's now to 5th in that 36 Kit Kat sponsor machine.
Yeah, bring them to the low side. So looking like a little bit of mild change here from the spring where we saw the outside lane really be the dominant line here when the guys raced over at FTF. I believe I made one of my few starts of the season here at Kansas in the springtime. It certainly was a high line dependent racetrack, but so far through these opening laps, Joe, inside lane I think is doing more than I think even you and I anticipated it's doing. These guys seem to have fresher tires down on the bottom and looks to be a whole lot more grip down there than we saw in the springtime.
Yeah, and the guys did say that we could anticipate some changes to the racing surface in the track, and the way the grip levels and stuff were set up coming into this evening. So definitely something that we'll have to keep our eye on, especially as the tires where these guys are using the 2017 FTF EXC, which tries to mimic basically the NASCAR low downforce package that they're running at the majority of the circuits here this year. So the way the tire wear works could affect what line some of these guys will run towards the end of the run. But you're right. In the springtime, the high line was the dominated line here, and now it looks like guys are able to use a couple different lines. The bottom line looks like it is a preferred groove so far, but as the race continues on, I'm sure some guys will start to find speed in different lines. That's accustomed to how these FTF tracks are built now, where usually multiple grooves and multiple lines will work on any given racetrack, and I'm sure we'll see some of that later on in the event.
I absolutely anticipate we'll see a lot of that as stuff has started to settle out here through the opening 10 laps. As far as racing in the top 10 goes, Colin Keister, our current race leader, Matt Durr, Matt Vassar, Corey Carpenter, Taylor Morgan's your current top 5. 6 through 10, Maverick Morrow, Derek Justice slipped back to 7th, Brandon Lawson 8th, Kevin McAdams is 9th, and Chris Wetz from up in the top 5 starting position. He slid all the way now back to the 10th position as Vassar is starting to run down those top 2, Todd. He's got Matt Durr right there in his crosshairs, so it may be a lap or so, maybe another corner before we see that 17 maybe make a run up to that runner-up position.
Yeah, he's indeed starting to reel in the number 92 of Matt Durr. And Vassar right now running a little bit quicker, 29.194 last time by. This time by, he's actually running a 29.342 to the number 92's 29.379. Not quite as quick as he did last time, but he's still reeling in that number 92 of Matt Durr. Like you said, he's in a must-win situation here this evening there, Phil, and that's going to be Vassar's thought here all evening long. He's going to take the chances to try to win this one.
Oh, you absolutely have to. And as a driver, you certainly understand where he is here tonight. Only 8 guys are going to transfer out into next week's SRA Round of 8 that, will make up race number 7 here of the FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs. But as you said, he comes in tonight 12th in the standings. The last driver eligible, 31 points or 21 points outside that cutoff line. I mean, that's a lot of spots. Matt had a disastrous run here last week at Talladega that put him kind of in this hole. So it just puts him in that do or die must win scenario. So he's going to have to take those chances tonight, as you said, Todd. And he's got that 17 rolling in the right direction. He's run down Matt Durr. He's going to look to the low side here, running down toward the apron. He may look for a low side pass here as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, down into turn 1, Matt Vassar trying to work on the bottom, rolling into the center and coming off the corner here. Number 92 of Matt Durr hanging on to that 2nd spot. But I'm sure it's not going to be for long as Matt Vassar down the back straightaway here into turn number 3, looking and peeking down low once again. That number 17 machine, just making sure Durr is up there far enough as Durr now drifting up the track. Matt Vassar able to go down towards the apron there, make it side-by-side battle here across our finish line. Durr relinquishes 2nd. Matt Vassar now to 2nd.
Yeah, and I'm kind of puzzled there because knowing that those guys are Vast House Racing teammates, I'm surprised that the 92 didn't lay over there and let the 17 go. We're still early on in the race. Matt knowing full well that, Matt, for Durr, Matt up there, Mr. Durr in the 92, probably knowing full well that Vassar is trying to race his way down toward a championship and probably needs to go out there and claim this race in a victory lane tonight. So kind of staggered that the 92 put up the challenge that he did, but the 17 able to make waves. But while they did that, look at the interval and the lead that Colin Keister's pulled away to. It 1.6 seconds last time around. With Vassar having clean air, can he run those lap times down? But you got to think, that 14 looking in his mirror, see those guys racing side by side. I mean, just look at the interval he able to pull away there, Todd.
Yeah, this time by Colin Keister flashes by that start-finish line. He ran a 29.441. Let's see what Vassar ran. Vassar indeed ran a 29.602, so Colin Keister able to pull away even more. Here comes Taylor Morgans into the fray already. He gets around to number 92 of Matt Durr. He puts himself into that third spot, Phil, and he's another guy that you need to watch. Is Taylor Morgan's in that 36 machine. As it seems like on a longer green flag run, that's Taylor Morgan's where he does the best.
Oh, he certainly does. And said if anybody could do it quietly here tonight, Taylor was so far through the opening 18 laps has certainly done so. Normally qualifies up in the top, a couple dozen rows, or a couple rows anyways, but did not see him up in that top 5 starting position tonight. Started outside, toward the back half of the top 10, but he has certainly marched forward. A guy who's already picked up a win in the UFI Round of 12, so he's guaranteed into the SRA Round of 8 that starts next week in Martinsville. But, Taylor not having to race for those points here tonight and worry about that, he may just go up there and try to race for a checkered flag. The 36 doing exactly what he's got to do. He's up there to P3, and he's chased that down to about 3 car lengths on Vassar. We may see a race for that second spot here in about a lap or so.
Yeah, we're going to see a race there. Matt Vassar seems to fall off the pace just a little bit. 29.749 last time by with a 29.581 to Taylor Morgan's. Vassar, like you said, he's in one of those must-win situations. We're going to remind you all evening long is a 17 machine is going to do everything he can. But that includes burning up his tires here already this early on in the going. I believe he's not conserved anything on that 17 machine. That's allowing the 36 of Taylor Morgan's to catch up and make some headway. Meanwhile, back in the other portion of the field here, we're looking for battle for the 5th spot there, as it looks like the number 30 of Corey Carpenter had the 5th spot. Now the 57 of Maverick Mora worked his way around to him. Now he's in the top 5. Derek Justice right now in the 7th position at 31.
Yeah, just updating, the race there between Maverick and Corey. It was a good race for about 2 laps, Maverick being able to overtake Corey on the inside. But looking at the way those two guys sit in the point standings, Maverick coming in tonight, 7th in the standings, no comfortable margin by any means, 12-point cushion. It sounds good, but he's got the likes of Chris Wetz there, and Corey Carpenter is right there on that bubble spot. Corey 4 points out, so you got to think the 30 is going to probably have to do a little bit of aggressive maneuvering through the latter part of this race. You got to think the 30's got to be chasing all the points we can here, especially thinking about those critical stage points we talk about here, Todd. We haven't talked about the stages yet. Stage 1 tonight, 40 laps. Same with stage 2, also 40 laps, and 87 laps will make up the balance here of race 3. That'll make up the 167 laps. 400 kilometers tonight here for the Joe Nemecheck One Here Once 400K at the Kansas House Shieldway, or we call it the Kansas Speedway. But, looking at the race now up near the top 5, we talked about Derek Justice, Todd. He was running 7th. Well, he's up to 6th. He's going to look for 5th. He's still the inside of the 57. The 31 starting to move forward here as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, indeed, the 31 is starting to move forward just a little bit. Phil, another interesting kink that's going to be into that play of the stages. 31 to 33 laps is the tank of fuel on these cars, so you're going to see a green flag pit stop or a pit stop for that matter before the end of the stage here. There's a 31 of Derek Justice now, like you said, get around Maverick Morrow. Now going around the number 92 of Matt Durr. Durr right now is side by side with the 31 of Derek Justice, but Justice now to that 5th spot, I believe, is where he's going to be at in that number 31 machine. And Matt Vassar, no, that was for 4th. Matt Vassar back to 3rd as Taylor Morgan's around Vassar. Now Morgan sets his sights on the number 14 of Colin Keister. So like I said, Derek Justice up to 4th here later in the going. He was saving and conserving his tires in that number 31 Baskin-Robbins Ford Fusion.
Yeah, but I'm, talk about saving the tires, but can anybody right now do anything at all with that interval that Colin Keister has opened up? It was 3 seconds at the line, just about even there, Joe Allen. 14 with that clean air. These guys racing and, jockeying for a position behind him. he's just drone off there in that clean air and just left these guys in the dust through these first 25 laps.
Yeah, Colin has been relatively dominant in the races that he's gone out. He's just had some bad luck that really hindered him early on during the season, but he's still a very strong championship contender out there leading this race, and he's putting up blistering lap times, guys. He's been able to kind of set his own pace out there, and as he's driven away to almost a 3-second gap, he's still turning some of the fastest laps on the racetrack as well. So Colin doing everything that he has to do out front. He's been able to save tires and basically pull away with the race lead and use that clean air to his advantage. And I'm sure we'll see more of that. And a lot of these guys behind him, his teammate Taylor Morgan's, Derek Justice, they're going to have to start searching around here throughout the race and see if maybe they can find any extra speed and see if anybody has anything for that number 14 as the event continues to wind down here this evening.
Yeah, staggering, Todd. 25 laps into the going. Pit road is open. We've seen a couple of our faster competitors up to the front. The likes of the number 17 of Matt Vassar. He's come to pit road to put 4 fresh tires on. So now the question is, how long do these guys that are going to be out there on older tires, do they stay out and lose these time? Because you know what, a place like Kansas, tire wear is going to be critical, and these new tires are going to pay dividends for these guys that have just come on.
Yeah, you got to think. But Matt Vassar, like you said, 21 points behind that cutoff line, Phil. He's going in early. He's going to try to get that extra little bit of help he's going to have here, because these guys are going to have to go in lap 31 by lap 33. They're going to have to go down on pit road unless they've been conserving gas. So Vassar, that puts him right into a place to win one of these stages.
Yeah, we'll get down to the end here. Stage 1 in about a dozen laps or so. 28 of 167 up on the board. So we'll see how much that helps. But seeing a couple of more cars coming on and off of pit road. I believe that was one inside the top 5. So let me go update that situation. I was clicked off screen reading on something. I believe the 57 of Maverick Mora was one of the guys in the top 5, Todd, that may have come to pit road out of that top 5.
Yeah, 57 of Maverick Mora down on pit road. Also the number 9 of Brandon Lawson. They're on pit road. Looks like 4 tires is the call. The 57 right side tires already completed on the 57 of Maverick Mora. Now left side's going on the 57. He's down and away. And the number 9 of Brandon Lawson, also 4 tires is the call. He's down and away.
I got the number 15 Charter Spectrum Toyota of Keith Sherman. Keith making a rare appearance here on the FTF Jones Cup Series. He's on to pit road on the number 15. It was a 4-tire pit stop on his Toyota. His work is all clean. He's down and away. Also looked like 4 tires was the call for, I believe it was that Ryan Rocky, the 37. I believe it may have come in as well. So a couple of different leaders here have come down to pit road there out of the top 10.
Yeah, a couple of guys come down, relinquishing the lead, using them with fresh Goodyear Eagles to get back out on the speedway and make up some time. Taylor Morgan's now down on pit road. Also the 92 of Matt Durr. Those guys are on pit road. Also the 14 of Colin Keister's in.
The race leader, Colin Keister, has found his way to pit road. Let's see what the Amp Chevrolet does when it comes to the attention of his pit crew. He's got a nice open stall in front of him. The 14 on the jack, perfectly there. Right side tires are in the air. Right side tire work down really quick on the right sides. We'll swing over to the left sides there. 4-tire pit stop for the number 14 Chevrolet. His work is about complete. Left sides are down. He's on the gas pedal. Colin Keister going to rejoin the race.
The Kit Kat Chevy, the number 36 machine of Taylor Morgan's, 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. He's down and away. He's going to join behind the number 14 of Colin Keister. Also the 92 of Matt Durr right there, going to finish there in behind them. The guys almost making contact coming off of pit road. They narrowly escaped that. They're back to the field here, Phil.
And Matt Durr bringing that 92 John Deere machine off of pit road. Guys, just juking. Looking at the transition these guys are having, getting on and off of pit road, onto the racetrack there is certainly a trying time. But as we see the leaders cycling through this round of pit stops, look at the top of the leaderboard. The number 74 of Blake McCandless maybe using some strategy here, maybe trying to pick up a stage win. We've seen him do that before. Blake coming in tonight, 11th in the standings, 19 markers out, so needing to make something happen. And what way to try to accumulate max points there, Todd, of maybe stealing one of these precious stage wins.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe he's actually out there trying to conserve fuel, trying to get one of those stage wins. I don't know if the 74 is going to be able to save that amount of fuel, and it's going to be interesting. Maybe he's just waiting for a yellow flag, maybe to randomly come out.
Oh, maybe so. It's 34 laps on the board. Another guy that's found his way to the speedway here tonight. Not sure if we've talked about the 53 of Justin Malello. think he's one of the last guys now coming onto pit road. The 53 is, and Todd, I believe race leader Blake McCandless has also found his way off the banking.
Yeah, and does not make the commitment cone, does the 74 Blake McCandless, so I don't know if that's going to give him a penalty or not. 74 Blake McCandless down on pit road. He was almost out of fuel there, running on fumes coming down the pit road, right side tires. Going on the number 74 machine of Blake McCandless. Looks like they're going to go around to the left side tires for the 74. Yep. It's going to be 4 tires as a call for Blake McCandless.
There was also 4 tires looking on the back of pit road there for Justin Malello, so he was in. So I believe that's going to complete the cycle of green flag pit stops. 36 laps of 167 going to go on the board next time around. Less than 5 laps to go here in stage number 1. And updating the leaderboard, look who's going to recycle out with that race lead. The first of the leaders to pit road was the Western Auto Ford number 17 of Matt Vassar. Well, he's got a 2.5-second lead over Colin Keister. Colin had a 3-second advantage when he come on in to make his pit stop. And also Chris Wetz, he's found the 71 up to the top 3. He was one of those guys. He was on pit road the same lap as Matt Vassar. So just shows short-term, Todd. Those guys coming in early, taking the fresher tires. I think the proof is in the benefit there on the racetrack of what our current interval is.
Yeah, he's quite a bit faster. Is Colin Keister, the 14 machine of the 17, 0.5 of a second faster is Colin Keister of the number 17 of Matt Vassar. So he's running down in a really, really fast clip here. Vassar did come out, though it tried to get as many stage points as he's going to be able to do here. We're on lap 37 of 167. So about 4 laps to go here for the stage win. The 17 of Matt Vassar's playing everything he can. He's rolling the dice as much as he can here to try to pick up as many points as he can. Like we said, he's 21 points from that cut line. So Vassar doing everything he can to try to make it to the SRA round of 8.
Yeah, but as you guys were saying, Colin Keister picking up almost a 0.5 second a lap on these guys. It's going to be 3 laps to go in stage number 1 when we get back to the line. So can Matt hold Colin back? It was 1.6 seconds last time by. He's cut that down to an even 1.2. So 0.4 of a second there. So if that interval holds up, it may be just enough for Matt Vassar to throw a block here and maybe win stage 1. As I believe now, Todd, developing story. I believe you said caution flag at the racetrack. Is that accurate? All right, indeed, caution flag is on the speedway. The word from race control here. Just a reminder, FTF, they do the gentleman's type cautions when things happen on the racetrack. The admin will manually call out caution flag, and these guys will slow down to caution pace and catch the lead car, and they'll come onto pit road the first time around, and these guys will, you know, in the essence of shortening up caution flags and seeing more green flag racing, we won't see much of the full velocity semi-rig tonight. He'll be parked right down at his nest there off the opening green flag. So through the first round of green flag pit stops, and I believe with the buffer zone that we have with the first stage, I think it's safe to say that Matt Vassar is going to pick up the stage win here in stage number 1. But let's talk about that here in a minute. Let's throw it down to Joe Allen, who I believe has our first full velocity rewind of the evening.
I do, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to focus our attention, guy who, our pole sitter, Matt Durr in the 92, and FTF playoff contender. That's Kevin McAdams in the 26, guys. Trouble going down into turn 3. Kevin has the preferred line down on the bottom on these fresh tires as they battle down into turn 3 behind the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Looks like Kevin starts to slide up the hill just a little bit. Might have misjudged the corner. Gets loose under the 92. Right about here, you can see the back end start to come around. He tries to save it. Gets into the rear of the 92, unfortunately. Turns that Ford Fusion into a hatchback Ford Fiesta and a hatchback Chevy SS for the 26 as well. Those models, those manufacturers may have to take a look at that. I don't think anybody else is involved. We'll take a look there. There's the 15 of, I believe that's Keith Sherman going by. There's the 2. The 67 Andrew Swartz, another playoff contender. These guys parked right in the middle of the racetrack. I'm not sure if there's anybody else that's going to come around. We see these 2 cars come to a complete stop. Just sitting there. There's Jason Justice in the 16, the 39 of Arnold Columbia. I think it's just these 2 guys involved in the wreck. As you see now, they start to roll down the hill. So tough break for these guys. Just looks like Kevin just lost the handle on the 26 on the bottom there, trying to get around the 92 of Matt Durr, and, you know, coming down to the end of the stage, these guys are racing pretty hard to try and accumulate as many stage points as they possibly can, and calamity strikes there. Tough break for the 26. Luckily, I believe Kevin came in here with a pretty solid buffer as far as where he was sitting in points, so he had a little bit to give, but still, regardless, you don't want to see something like that happen to one of our playoff contenders. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right. Yeah, I think Kevin probably feeling a little bit safe here tonight with 50 points to the good as far as margin, on the strength of 29 playoff points. I think that Kevin McAdams is pretty comfortable as far as where points go, but it's certainly not where you want to be with a tore-up race car at a place like a Kansas where, aerodynamics plays a role. So definitely damage to the back end of the 26. So aerodynamics definitely going to play a role there. But like we said, Todd, when it comes down to getting into the SRA round of 8, it's about those top 8 guys in the points. And Kevin coming in tonight second in the standings. I think he's probably going to be sitting comfortable. Maybe not happy as a race car driver, but got to be a little bit at ease with that buffer he's worked his way up through these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, indeed, he's got to be happy with that buffer. He made the broadcast 5 times in a row there, Phil, or 4 times. No, it might have been even 5 times in a row, 4 times in a row. He was going for 5 times last week and failed to make the broadcast as far as being interviewed there at the end of the race. He was a little bit disappointed with that. He'd like to start a new streak here tonight, but he's not off to the right foot here this evening with contact being made. And we'll just have to see what's going to happen with Mr. Kevin McAdams in that 26 machine. But unfortunately, that's never a good thing there. Even though he had a huge buffer, a 50-point buffer, that's something you just don't want to see.
Oh, absolutely not. But looking at the standings here as guys are coming on and off pit road, you may see some guys that are trapped a lap down from the last round of green flag pit stops take a wave around. You may see some really fast cars down 1 lap. I'm seeing currently scored, and I want to make sure this is official here as we get ready for a restart, I believe, one more time around. I see both Jason and Derek Justice currently score 1 lap down. So those are 2 guys that are, locked up straight here in this playoff battle. Derek coming in 3rd in the standings, Jason 6th in the standings. Jason's got a 23-point cushion, so it's not, uncomfortable by any stretch of the imagination, but a catastrophic kind of night from the 16. I mean, his chances could go awry here tonight if you see the likes of, say, a Chris Sweats, a Corey Carpenter, even other guy out like Andrew Swartz, Blake McCandless, or even Matt Vassar, who showed strong presence here tonight. Any of those guys go to Victor Lane, the 16 don't rebound. It could be catastrophic.
Could definitely be catastrophic to some of these things, and I believe how it works is Matt Vassar won this stage. I'm not 100% positive. We're still waiting. I think they're inside that buffer zone. I believe Matt Vassar did win that stage. So when he wins that stage, he gets some more points there. So that's going to help him out here in his efforts to try to get back into this SRA round of 8.
Oh, absolutely. So the field working its way, I believe, through the entries of turn number 3 and 4. These guys are all sorted out, double file. We're going to go green flag racing here this time around. Matt Vassar, our current race leader, he's going to elect to take the top lane. Colin Keister going to restart on the inside runner-up. Row 2, Maverick Morrow, Chris Wetz. Green flag is in the air.
And green flag is in the air. The 17 of Matt Vassar gets a good start up top. A lot of grip up there for Matt Vassar to be able to hold on to that lead here coming down into turn 1. But Colin Keister dives right down to the bottom immediately. And number 14 trying to make something happen here through 1 and 2. Not going to be able to do so off of turn number 2. It's going to be Colin Keister still running second, but Matt Vassar is leading.
Yeah, and you see the way the 14 washed up the racetrack off of turn number 2. Thought he may have lost the nose. Maybe that was on purpose because he's going to drive that car deep into turn number 3 off of turn 4. Looks like he's going to make that stick to the low side. They're going to be side-by-side, door handle to door handle, maybe for the race lead. Look at that power move by Matt Vassar. He's going to take the nose, but the 14 using that low lane, they'll be side-by-side once again off of turn 2.
And the 14 drifts up. Does not give much room to the 17 of Matt Vassar here down the back, straight away into turn number 1. Colin Keister trying to do everything he can to get back to that lead. Looks like he's going to pull a slide job here off of turn number 4, and he's going to be able to make that stick in front of the 17 of Matt Vassar, put Colin Keister to the lead, Vassar to second. Vassar right now gotta be looking at that to maybe use that later on in the going here, as those slide jobs there off the corner looks like they'll work pretty well.
Working well, but a slide job in front of Matt Vassar. Not sure how many guys have lived to tell that story, and Matt not put that bumper to him as that slide job was going on there. So great driving by Colin Keister, able to make that happen. Looks like he's starting to pull away ever so slightly from that 17. It's 2 car lengths into turn 1. Great race going on around for that 3rd spot. Maverick Morrow was there. Chris Wetz to 71. With those guys racing side by side, Todd, that put Maverick from about 15 car lengths back. We'll call that about 7 car lengths. So you may see 3, maybe 4, even the top 5. If these guys up front start racing side by side again, we're going to see from 2 cars, we may balloon up to about 6 or 7 racing for the lead here in a few laps.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch some of these guys. Maverick Morrow, like you said, running in the 3rd spot. You got Chris Wetz running in the 4th spot in that number 71 machine. Then you got Corey Carpenter, who's running 5th. 6th is the 36 Taylor Morgan. 7th is Jordan Buster. 8th, I believe, is Tom Sullivan. 9th is the 199 of Brandon Hawken. And 10th right now, with a little bit of damage there from that last incident, is Matt Durr in that number 92 machine.
Yeah, current top 10 there as we work lap number 47. Just watching these guys inside the top 5, you see the way these guys use the banking down to the apron through the front straightaway. Something very typical at the Kansas Speedway. Makes for a really, really cool picture up there. Who may not be thinking it's really cool, the 57 of Maverick Morrow running 3rd. He's got a mirror full of that number 71 of Chris Wetz. He's got pressure of 30 of Corey Carpenter. Throw 3 cars under a blanket there, racing for the lead, racing for 3rd now off of turn 2.
Yeah, definitely racing for 3rd there. Pretty good, highly contested as they go back to the start-finish line. Highly contested 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Now they're going down into turn number 1 here. Still Maverick Morrow with the 3rd place position, just about a couple car lengths over the 71 of Chris Wetz, and 5th right now is the number 30 of the Corey Carpenter. Carpenter now going to dive to the bottom side in the number 30 machine, and I believe a yellow flag is out there on the speedway once again. Yellow flag, I believe this time involving the 15 and maybe even the 37 of last week's winner.
Yeah, Ryan Naraki looks like may have a piece of list of 15 of Keith Sherman. Definitely involved. We'll put Joe Allen back to work here with a full velocity rewind. Now working lap number 50 of 167. We're into stage number 2 here. That first caution flag put the end of stage 1. So we'll be racing for stage points here in stage 2. 80 laps, or 40 laps this in stage 2 will put us all the way out to lap 80 up on the board. So 30 laps to go in this current stage. Then we'll set the stage for 87 laps to put the period here on this awesome race here. Race number 6 of the FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs. We haven't seen a lot of yellow flags here through these last 5 weeks here, Joe, but we're slowed by the second one of the evening here. So you're ready here with the full velocity rewind. So show us what happened to the 15 and the 37.
Thank you guys. Full velocity rewind number 2 of the evening. For this one, we're going to focus on that navy blue and white car on the top. That's the 15 of Keith Sherman, I believe. And then we have the 37, last week's winner, Ryan Naraki, guys. A lot of chase contenders around there. There's the 26 of Kevin McAdams again. Derek Justice back on the lead lap in the 31. He's back there. And Brandon Lawson in the 9 is back there as well. So go down into turn 1. Looks like Naraki comes up in front of the 15 trying to get that angle going down into the corner, and Sherman picks up the throttle a little bit sooner than the 37, just gets into the back end and sends the 37 for a ride through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Naraki spins up into the wall up here. Looks like Keith Sherman gets away unscathed, so lucky for the 15. Not so sure. There's Blake McCandless, championship contender back there. I think Naraki keeps this thing up against the fence, guys. No other cars involved in this, but tough break for Ryan. Out there riding around, saving his stuff early on in the event, and just caught into a situation not of his doing. Not much that you can do there, unfortunately, when you get ran into the back of. But that'll do it for our second caution of the evening. Back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, and pit road, as we expected here, under the caution flag, these guys going to all take fresh tires, and pit road was a very, very busy place there, Todd, but looked like it was our race leader, Colin Keister, who may have won this race off of pit road.
Yeah, Colin Keister did win the race off of pit road. I believe it would be the 14 machine, and then the 57 of Maverick Morrow right there. That was a surprise. He's up into the second behind the 14 of Colin Keister. Then Matt Vassar. So those are all pretty big surprises there. I was not sure what the 57 did tire-wise. I believe these guys pretty much all took 4.
And just looking up and down the end of pit road here, down toward where the leaders were all pitting, it looked like it was mainly 4 tires for everybody down here on this side of pit road. Didn't see anybody down here gambling as far as 2. Think it's far too early for that. Much too many laps to go on the stage. Pack it full of fuel, put 4 fresh tires on it. I think that was the story from this end of pit road, as I believe we're going to get 1 to go signal this time around there, Todd. So 1 more lap around, and it looks like this may put I believe 24 of our 25 competitors back to the lead lap. So just outside of 110 laps to go. Still got a lot of racing left to go, and anything from here can truly happen.
Yeah, definitely anything can truly happen here. Like you said, still got another stage to go. Then of course, the final stage. So this stuff happening here at the Kansas House Shieldway Kansas Speedway, I should say, is going to be interesting to say the least. There's a lot of guys, things are on the line. A lot of their SRA round of 8 is on the line, I should say, for a lot of these guys that are below that cut line. And like 30, Corey Carpenter, he's only 4 points, but he's got to make sure that he gets in. You got Matt Vassar who used strategy to win that stage and pick up some more precious points. You got some other guys that are right back there. Blake McCandless trying to stay out. He was trying to gamble as much as he could, and it did not work in his favor. So there's a lot of things that's still left to happen here in this race. As the night's still young. 52 laps at 167.
Yeah, a lot of racing left here to go, and we'll be awaiting a green flag next time around from these guys. Look like Colin Keister's going to looks like he's going to restart low side of the racetrack, so he'll take the opposite of what Matt Vassar did on the last restart. Colin Keister to the outside, Maverick Morrow second. Row 2 will find Chris Wetz, Taylor Morgans, Jordan Buster having a great run. He'll be in the inside of row 3. Tom Sylvain, Matt Durr, Brandon Hawken, Andrew Swartz, and the champ David Schildhouse will make up our top 10 here. As we await the restart, green flag, I believe, Todd, up in the air. We're back to green flag racing as they head toward turn 1.
Yeah, green flag racing as we head to turn number 1 here. The 57 of Maverick Morrow was your leader there on the start of that race. Now Colin Keister down to the bottom side. And that number 14 machine not able to pull off something through the corner. But I tell you what, he's a rocket ship off the corner. Here comes Colin Keister side by side with the 57 of Maverick Morrow. He makes short work of him. Put Colin Keister back to the lead.
Colin Keister back to the lead. Now can his Huge Send Motorsports teammate make that same pass on the outside off of turn number 4, that being the 36 of Taylor Morgans. He'll make quick work of the 71 of Chris Wett. So as Colin Keister finds the lead, we know a fast rocket ship Kit Kat Chevrolet of Taylor Morgans will be on the move. He's up to that 3rd spot. He may look for 2nd. He's pulled all over the back bumper of Maverick Morrow. We're going to have a race for 2nd here as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, race for the 2nd position is going to start heating up as a Kit Kat. Taylor Morgans is still running in that 3rd spot, but he was able to close the gap quite a distance, and then all of a sudden it settled down there. Not able to take a shot at Maverick Morrow as of yet, but now he's diving down here into the corner, so he's making short work of Maverick. Maverick is running about the middle groove with that number 57 machine where Taylor Morgans can run the bottom in that 36.
And looking like, equal grip here all the way around the racetrack tonight. This place showing the 2 and 3 distinct grooves these guys can use to maneuver through the high bank 1.5-mile corners here at the Kansas Speedway. Colin Keister, as he's, done most of the night here leading this event, he's currently got the 14 nestled top of the podium. Race for that 2nd spot is heating up. The Oreo Chevrolet Maverick Morrow running the middle side of the racetrack. The Kit Kat Chevrolet to the low side. That sounds like a really good, McFlurry here going to McDonald's. Kit Kat, Oreo, take your pick. It's 2 really good snacks. They're racing for that 2nd spot off of turn 4.
I like the Kit Kat there, Phil, but I have to say Oreo is far superior, especially in ice cream or any of that thing. I like to dunk them in milk. We need a milk sponsorship out there too. That would be awesome to see a milk sponsorship out there. But the number the 36 Kit Kat machine down on the bottom of the Speedway right now, trying to take over the 2nd position from the 57 of Maverick Morrow. He's going to be able to do so, put him into 2nd. Morgan's to 2nd. 3rd is Maverick Morrow. So, again, a lot of treats up here, Phil. It's starting to make me hungry.
It's starting to make me hungry, and somewhere off air you hear Joe Allen whisper in our ear, milk. So he obviously knows what Todd's thinking up here. Chocolate and milk definitely sounding good as these guys putting on one hell of a race at the Kansas Speedway off of turn number 2. How about the run here for the number 8 of Jordan Buster? We talked about him a couple of weeks ago having a nice strong run. He was a good competitor here at FTF all year, a guy who just missed getting into the FTF Jones Cup playoffs. But that number 8 Chevrolet having a terrific run. He is currently 5th. He's got, Chris Wentz right out the windshield, but let's highlight another terrific run by the number 8 there, Todd. Jordan Buster up in 5th, and he's mixing it up with the best of the best here once again here on a Sunday night in FTF and having a very respectable showing for himself.
Indeed, he's having a good showing in that number 8 machine. I'm surprised. Top 5 here for Jordan Buster. He was real strong the last time we showcased him, and he's strong again here. Mixing it up with, like you said, the best of the best. The guys that are here in the chase here, the round of 12 right now. So as we work our way to the Sim Racing Association round of 8. But Jordan Buster showing that he may even have a chance to get in here the following season here for the FTF Jones Cup. But it's going to be interesting to see if he could do what Ryan Naraki did last week and maybe pick up a win here, and it'd be another non-chase driver to pick up a win.
That certainly can happen. As you guys are absolutely enjoying the best of the best as far as NR 2003 Cup racing goes. Probably the most competitive league we got here is the FTF Jones Cup Series. Thrilled to bring it to you once again here through this 10-race playoff stretch. We're in round number 6 of the FTF Jones Cup playoffs. Hope you're enjoying the best of online sim race broadcasts right here on the ultimate esport experience, which is the Full Velocity Network. Find us at our home base, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Book your date now. I know it's getting to the conclusion of a lot of leagues racing seasons, and we'd love to showcase all the great racing you got going on. No league too big or too small. Very affordable broadcast rates, and what more can you ask for? Getting a great action-packed product right here. Phil LeCast, Todd Stanton, and Joe Allen. We are the soundtrack of sim racing right here live on Full Velocity. The Joe Nemecheck won here once, 400K from the Vast House Shieldway here tonight, known as the Kansas Speedway. You know, look at all these delicious memes of Kansas House Shieldways. Have slaughtered that 20 times tonight. I do it again thanks to the you know what it is here, Joe, and I'll give you this one. I'm just thrown back by all the pictures of having David Schildhouse's mug all over the racetrack. I mean, it's completely thrown off my game.
Yeah, if you look around the racetrack, I believe you'll see it in the picture. As I'll put us in the scenic view here. David Schildhouse has his portrait displayed at the exit of turn 4, I believe, and he's also got it in turns 1 and 2, and I think it's probably on the flag stand as well. So as we come around through turns 1 and 2 here, you'll see it right there, right in the middle of turns 1 and 2. There's a big old portrait displayed right there of David Schildhouse. So all those drivers have to be reminded every time they go around the racetrack that they are running at the Kansas House Shieldway, courtesy of our friend David Schildhouse, guy that we have grown accustomed to having up in the booth as well as seeing out on the racetrack.
Hey, if the ego can't get bigger than the charisma, you got him watching over us here in meme fortune, which, you know, these guys at FTF always having a good time. David definitely, you know, he's the champ of the series, so he likes to, of course, establish that. One of our good buddies, as you said, Joe, and, you know, looking at that beautiful mug sprinkled all over the mile and a half here tonight, it just certainly got me off of my game. But as we reset back to the racing action, 65 laps going on the board, so we start to think forward there, Todd. We got about a little less than 15 laps to go here in stage number 2. These guys, you know, on the outside looking into these FTF Jones Cup Series playoffs, we saw Matt Vassar steal stage number 1 there by that caution flag coming out. But look at where he is now nestled. He, you know, with a little less than 15 laps to go, Matt Vassar, the 17, he's all the way back in that 15th position. Certainly not where he wants to be here, trying to pick up early stage points here for the tonight.
No, not where he wants to be. He's back in the hornet's nest, as I would call it. There, those guys are running real close together. He's a leader of what I call the second pack of that hornet's nest. As he's trying to track down the guys up there in front of him, and like you said, he's in 15th. You got Derek Justice, who is currently running 14th there, Phil. The 31, he had to take a lucky dog, and he's got the 26, Kevin McAdams in front of him. Columbia running in the 12th position. You got the number 199 of Brandon Hawken. He is running 11th, and 10th right now is Blake McCandleston at 74. He was another guy that took a wave around. So there's a lot of stuff going on back there.
No, it certainly is. Those guys, you know, even that 10th position is going to play off that one playoff point, but those are crucial. I mean, it's elimination night. You got to gather up all you can. You got guys like Blake that are racing for their life, and, you know, he's currently holding on to that 10th spot. We know Blake wants to score more points. He's probably in one of those situations where he's going to go up there and maybe claim a checkered flag and, you know, put that fate out of his hands as far as points go. But we'll update that here through these last 100 laps here at the Kansas Speedway, all chasing as we've left off. Colin Keister would have 0.4 of a second advantage over his teammate, the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Maverick Morrow third, Chris Wetz is fourth. And how about the run for Thomas Sylvain there, Todd? We haven't talked much about that Miller Lite Ford, but the number 2 on the move, he's up to 5th, and maybe a couple laps before he's up to 4th. He's got Chris Wetz, he's run them down by about 10 car lengths. We'll call that 3, so we may have a race for 4th here in a couple of laps here off of turn 4.
Yeah, Sylvain, a guy that's been mired towards the backpack. He was out of the round of 16 there early on in the portion of the FTF Jones Cup, so he was eliminated in the round of 16, and he did not make this round of 12. So Tom Sylvain, still real fast competitor. He wants to win a race here on the Full Velocity Network. A lot of these guys do, but I tell you what, Sylvain's pretty quick in that number 2 machine.
No, he really is. He's right there in the 71 tire tracks. Can't believe he didn't make the move a lap ago. Thought he really had to run to the low side. He's going to do so there down through the apron, down the front stretch. But he makes that high arcing turn into turn number 1. As a 71, he's kind of more conventional, diving into the bottom, wash up high. You see the difference, Sylvain, using that high maneuver on the inside going in, or just down to the inside coming out. It's giving him that great run. As I say that, now to the low side of the racetrack, entering turn 3. Tom Sylvain now up to 4th off of turn 4.
Yeah, Sylvain to 4th in that number 2 machine. He's around Wets. Now back up front. Meanwhile, back up front, it's spaced out pretty well here as we're going through here. Right now, the 14 of Colin Keister, about a half a second, 0.43 above the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. Then the 57 is 3rd. He's 1.28 back. And there's another 3 seconds back to Tom Sylvain and Chris Wetz. Then you got the champ, David Schildhouse. He's running 6th. He's 3.5 seconds back. Jordan Buster has now fallen to 7th position after running inside the top 5. He is 4.4 back. You got the 9 of Brandon Lawson. He's 4.69 back. The 67 machine Schwartz running in that 9th position. He's 4.93 back. And the 74 Blake McCandless right there battling with the 67 of Andrew Schwartz there for 9th. He's 4.94 back. So it's pretty much right now these guys in the top 3, they're spaced apart a little bit. Besides Taylor Morgan starting to reel in the 14 of Colin Keister, but they're spaced out. They're about a second and a half off each other. There's 3 seconds back, so it's double that to the 4th through 10th positions there, Phil.
Yeah, and I've got that 3rd pack in sight there. Just saw Brandon Lawson make the move to the outside around Jordan Buster. The other comer in that group, Blake McCandless, a 74, he was able to make his move around the 67 of Schwartz. He's to the inside of Jordan Buster in the number 8. We talked about Blake needing to run forward, try to make all the laps and, try to win one of these things. Well, he's moved his way forward. As he's done that as well, opening up the lane, he's got the 31 of Derek Justice. He has followed Blake right on through. That's good racing for about that 8th spot there in a turn 1.
Yeah, definitely good racing for about the 8th position. There's good racing. The 74 down to the bottom side. He's trying to get around the 8 of Jordan Buster. Here comes Derek Justice, 3 wide down the back straightaway. That's a questionable call here going down into turn number 3. Blake McCandless backs out of it, being in the chase right now, he's on the outside looking in. That's one of the things as Derek Justice now makes a 3 wide battle. He gets around both those cars, wholesale passing through the corner.
Yeah, that was a big, bold move there. That puts Derek now up to P8 as they hit turn number 1. But as he opens the door, here comes the 74 of McCandless. He'll swing back to the low side of the racetrack. Is there any more goodie left in his tires? He'll pull to the low side. Jordan Buster almost thinking of making it 3 wide once again. It is great racing all the way back for that 8th position. Once again, it's still there. 3 or 4 cars hot and heavy, Todd, off of turn 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 cars hot and heavy, and this is a great battle here. 8th, 9th, and 10th position, as now Blake McCandless still side by side with Derek Justice through the corner here. Justice up on the top side, that 31 Baskin-Robbins Ford Fusion. Got the 74 of Blake McCandless. He's all black there on the bottom side, as Justice glances off the wall once again coming out of the corner. He's got one whale of a push in that 31 machine as he's flirting with the wall, and that could end in disaster for that 31 machine, so he's got to make sure he stays up off that wall.
Yeah, he keeps knocking off that wall. Baskin-Robbins may turn into Dunkin' Donuts there, as I've seen many of the Baskin-Robbins stores do out here in my area. But using the outside of the racetrack, the 31 able to complete that pass of McCandless. Blake may have used up a little bit of his tire on the low side, but as we look up to the start-finish line, Todd, we're going to be coming to stage white next time around. So one more time around, Colin Keister may yet pick up another stage win here in the Jones Cup Series playoffs. He's got a lap and a half left to go here. Stage white as they head off of turn 4.
Yeah, stage white as they head off of turn number 4 here. So set 14 to Colin Keister looking to pick up a stage win, trying to pick up some more precious points as the 36 of Taylor Morgan's running right there with the 14 machine as we're down the back chute here into turn number 3. So again, Colin Keister right now leading this event here with the 36 machine of Taylor Morgan running in that 2nd spot. So some of these guys are already starting to pit too. The 39 calling out for his pit to go down on pit road.
And I thought the pit road buffer, was closed. That was stage white this time around. I was a little bit ahead of myself there. So stage white this time around here for Colin Keister. Let Todd smack me around for that one, as I gave him really horrible information here tonight. Just feel said I see the memes of Mr. Schildhouse, and it just got me all off of my game here tonight with that handsome looking mug. But this time around, off of turn number 4, we'll see stage checkered here for stage number 2. Colin Keister going to pick up the win. Taylor Morgan second. Maverick Morrow will come home third. Tom Sylvain fourth. Chris Wetz will end up stage 2 in the top 5. 6 through 10, we'll find David Schildhouse, Derek Justice, Blake McCandless, Andrew Swartz, and how about Matt Vassar, Todd? Didn't talk much about him through those last 15 laps, but he somehow was able to pick off 5 positions, put Matt Vassar to that 10th spot. He'll pick up a playoff point here to end off stage 2, and as we hit the start of stage 3, leaders are all on pit road.
Yeah, leaders are all down here on pit road. The 14 of Colin Keister. I got the 36 of Taylor Morgans. He slides down here into his pit stall. 36 Taylor Morgans. I believe 4 tires is going to be the call. I have not seen any other car take 2 tires here this evening. So right side tires have been put on the 36. And around goes to the left side. Left side tires on the 36 Kit Kat Chevrolet of Taylor Morgans. He's down and away.
I got the 14 of Colin Keister on this end of pit road. Looks like a 4-tire pit stop for the Yamp Chevrolet. His work going to be down the way. Also was down in the pit crew of a number 20 of David Schildhouse, but not sure what going on there. Looks like there may have been some mishaps getting onto pit road as he was making his way on down. Amazon Ford now on into his pit stall. Right side tires in the air for the 20. He'll swing over to the left side. So a 4-tire pit stop, but looks like some precious time lost for David Schildhouse getting on pit road. Something definitely peculiar going on there, Todd. Let me further on check to see what went on there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the champ, David Schildhouse, last year's champion, and it's good to get those bugs worked out here early on in the going. He's got a little bit of a cushion, and you don't want it to happen in the round of 4. I tell you what, that final race there, that's something where Schildhouse don't want that to happen. So it's good to get it out of early. He's got a cushion here, so that's where he wants it to happen if it's going to happen.
I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, we call it a playful alien abduction, but that 20 was gone for probably about 6 or 7 seconds and, got into his pit stall. Now a 20 coming back onto pit road. So thinking there may have been some kind of penalty assessed there to the 20 of David Schildhouse. Looks like a pass-through penalty going to be assessed here for the 20. Looking also onto pit road. More of the race leaders on. Blake McCandless has been in. Jason Justice, the number 16, he came in for 4 tires. So we're in the middle of green flag pit stops here, Todd.
They're definitely in the middle of green flag pit stops as these guys going down on pit road and waiting for a lot of these guys to complete service. The 67 completed service. It looks like the number 20 machine just come back out once again there, David Schildhouse. So he must have had a penalty. I believe I'm hearing too many men over the wall here for the 20 of David Schildhouse. So too many guys over the wall. He has got a penalty here. Hopefully that doesn't hurt his night.
Too many guys over the wall. I think it was a couple of aliens involved there. I was down there in the pit stall waiting for the car to get in here, and it just straight up disappeared. So not sure exactly what happened there, but too many men or too many somethings over the wall there to put that 20, going to put him behind the 8 ball. Going to at least relegate him to 1 lap down. Currently 24th out of the 25 left on the racetrack. 25 drivers took the green flag here just about 1 hour ago here for the Joe Nemecheck 1 here. 400K at the Kansas Speedway. Looks like this cycle of green flag pit stops has been completed. So cycling on back through, the 14 of Colin Keister will reclaim the lead. The 36 of Taylor Morgan second. Brandon Lawson, the number 9, the Target Dodge. He is now up to third. Maverick Morrow is fourth, and Corey Carper going to run our top 5. So, 1-2 just as we left it. But how about now the run for Brandon Lawson? He was running about 8th, Todd, through that beginning of that cycle. Coming in a little bit early, using those fresh tires, put the 9 now up to P3. Great move for the number 9 machine.
Yeah, good move for Brandon Lawson. Again, he was out of the round of 16 here early on in the going, but he's looking for a win just like anybody else here. That's what he's got to do is win just to I guess he gets a win on a full velocity network. I mean, it doesn't mean a lot for that number 9 of Brandon Lawson, but it would put an exclamation point to get a win here on the full velocity network and etch himself in history.
Well, you want to be part of the history of Full Velocity Network here. I think we've eclipsed now the halfway marker of this great race. So let's see if we can't do a quick full field rundown at halfway. It is Colin Keister, our current race leader. Taylor Morgan's a second. Brandon Lawson third. Maverick Morrow fourth. Corey Carpenter is currently fifth at number 30. 6 through 10, we find Tom Sylvain, Jordan Buster, Derek Justice, Chris Wetz. And how about the good run for the crazy Canadian Brandon Hawk in the 199? He is currently 10th. Matt Vassar is 11th. Kevin McAdams 12th. Blake McCandless is 13th. Jason Justice is 14th. Matt Durr, he finds himself. He was on the pole a little while ago. He is currently all the way outside the top 10, currently 15th. 16th through 20th, we find Noah Carmichael, Noah Hart, Chris Barnes, Ryan Nowarke, and Andrew Swartz. He's currently one lap down. He is currently 20th. 21st, we find Arnold Columbia. Alex Ruth is 22nd. David Schildhaus, 23rd. Keith Sherman, 24th. And Justin Malello, he's the last driver on the racetrack, 2 laps down in 25th. That is a full field rundown here, sponsored by the Full Velocity Network. Find us at our website, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Be part of all this great racing action. And just looking at these guys sprinkled all over the speedway there, Todd, everybody throughout the leaders, they're all kind of spread out. The best racing going on, maybe for about that 10th position there, around where we find Brandon Hawk and Matt Vassar. Also Kevin McAdams in that fray as well. But through this long, elongated green flag run, only slowed by 2 caution flags, these guys are spread out thin all over this Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, they're definitely spread out pretty thin around the Kansas House Shieldway. Is the 17 of Matt Vassar in the 10th position as he got around the 199 of Brandon Hawkins. So these guys are spread out, like we were saying. We got Colin Keister, of course, 1.3 between himself and Taylor Morgan. We go all the way back to 10th, it's 10.69 seconds. So between Colin Keister and the 17 of Matt Vassar, there's almost 11 seconds per se, the top 10. So these guys spreading themselves out between pit stops and their strategy calls and different things that they've done here this evening. So will a 2-tire call come their way? I don't think we're going to see any, but now the most important stage is upon us, and that's to win the overall race here. So it's a little bit longer. It's twice as long as the first 2 stages. You got 40, 40, and 87 is this stage, so to complete the race. So twice as long. There's going to be twice as many pit stops, more room for error there, as things may happen here in the blink of an eye at the Kansas House Shieldway.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about that 10-second deficit there between first place and 10th place. 10 seconds at Kansas, it's a long time. I mean, our buddy Joe Allen, we know he is very fast, but 10 seconds enough time for him to run from the computer to the refrigerator, maybe grab a cold glass of milk, maybe a cold beer, whatever he's got on tap there for him here out in Las Vegas tonight, running the controls for us on Full Velocity. But 10 seconds, a long time. I mean, I'm in the middle of this soliloquy, and it's just now 10 seconds. That's the interval between our race leader, Colin Keister, and currently 10th place, Matt Vassar. It's a long time on the speedway. It's a long time to hear the sound of my voice. But look at the interval now up to the front of this field there, Todd. Colin Keister, it was 0.4 of a second 2 laps ago. It's well over 1 second. It was 1.5. It's down to 1.1 now. But, we've talked about the 14. He comes in tonight 4th in the standings. A good buffer of 33 points. But why worry about points when you could take a checkered flag? And he has dominated the majority of this race here tonight. I can't think of maybe about 5 laps or less that Colin Keister has not been out front this evening.
Yeah, Colin Keister's led 77 laps so far here. 77 of 96 laps. That's a feat in itself, as he's dominant here tonight in that number 14 AMP Energy sponsor machine. So as Taylor Morgan is tracking him down there in the 36 machine, 1.04 last time by between himself and the number 14 machine. So Taylor Morgan is indeed tracking him down, trying to figure out if he's going to be able to reel him in. Is indeed, I believe he's going to be able to do so here, is number 36. Is Taylor Morgan's just greatest tire strategies, 1.02 this time by. So, he's reeling them in real slow, and that's what you got to do here to catch the number 14 machine. Is he's just on rails tonight.
Another car who's been on a rails here through these last 25 laps, the number 2 of Tom Sylvain. Now worked his way up to that 4th spot, just a lap ago here off of turn number 2, able to use the low side, make the run around the number 9 of Brandon Lawson. So Brandon, we know he stopped a little bit early on that last round, just at the conclusion of stage 2. He had come to pit road. He was up P3, but he surrendered the 3rd spot now to Maverick Morrow. The 4th spot there now to Tom Sylvain. It may be a couple of laps before we may see him surrender his 5th place position to Derek Justice, as Derek is starting to chase him down. It's about 8 or 9 car lengths, but Brandon Lawson on those older tires, maybe 2 laps, but it shows here 2 laps can be a big difference here at Kansas. It is certainly showing as Lawson falling now to that 5th spot. He may fall a little bit longer because these guys with fresher tires, they may start chasing him down. The next will be that 31 car.
Yeah, and the 31 of Derek Justice coming at the number 9 of Brandon Lawson at a good clip there. So he's under a second there. The 31 of Derek Justice trying to track down the number 9 there for that 5th spot. So Justice been fast all evening long also in that Boscombe Robbins sponsor machine. But we're trying to find a race throughout the field here. These guys are spread out pretty good. And that's what happens at the Kansas Speedway. A good battle here for the 10th position between the 199 of Brandon Hawkins and the number 30 of Corey Carpenter. Carpenter just relinquished that 10th spot to the 199, and now he's going right back at him here. Side-by-side battle for that 10th spot. That's an important battle here for the number 30 machine as he tries to work his way up through the field here and tries to get as many points as he can to try to get away from that cutoff line. Not able to complete the pass here on Brandon Hawkins, as Hawkins still running in 10th here, but Corey Carpenter right there and Kevin McAdams also in the fray.
Yeah, and just highlighting the great race going on between Brandon and Corey. If anybody's raced this community a long enough time, these 2 guys are 2 of the hardest racers out there, 2 of the fastest there can be out there. Corey, a very good racer. I've raced with Brandon a lot recently, especially with open setups. You know, these are 2 of the fastest guys this community has to offer, and we're 100 laps plus into this great race at the Kansas Speedway. You know, this shows a testament of how great this Jones Cup Series is. These guys are racing tooth and nail for position in the top 10, mind you. And we get the likes of, say, a Kevin McAdams now with a tore-up race car. He's around the 30 car, so maybe that 26 with damage, he may not be done yet. He's around the 30. That's racing for, I believe, now P11 into turn 2.
I'm just looking to see where P11 is. Meanwhile, I was back up towards the lead here, just trying to see what's going on up there. Is Colin Keister still putting a waste to the field here? Is the 36 Taylor Morgan still able to reel in the 14 here slowly, but surely he's reeling them in. Is the 36 Taylor Morgans. You got Maverick Morrow 4.7. He's in a world of his own in the number 57 machine, but there's a good battle going on now. It looks like it's starting to heat up here for that 9th or 8th position. Blake McCandless right to the rear bumper of the 17 of Matt Vassar. See if McCandless is going to be able to do anything to get around Vassar here in this later distortions, as they are both catching the number 71 of Chris Wetz. So Vassar's pushing up, coming out of the corner here. The 74 of Blake McCandless trying to work on the bottom side, but Vassar uses every inch of this track, and that's how Vassar races, and Vassar's really, really strong at doing that.
No, he certainly is. That's racing going on for the 8th position now off of turn number 2. Vassar does slide up the racetrack, opens the door for that number 74 Dodge of Blake McCandless. Blake is there. Let's see if he can drive it deep into turn 3. Maybe make that run stick. He is down there. They're side by side for position. Not sure he's going to have the grip to do so this time around. The 17 fighting back on the outside, but Blake having the advantage of running all the way down to the apron, that was enough to give him that run. So now move Blake McCandless on the best race on the racetrack. Put the 74 now up to P8 there as they exit turn number 2.
Yeah, now he's going to set his sights on Chris Wetz in that number 71 machine, but he's got a little bit of time to do that. These guys are battling 11 seconds off the leaders, so they're battling, but they're battling hard. But the 14 machine of Colin Keister still leading this event here, and leading it pretty good. Is 0.62 now. The gap last time I reported was 0.50 between himself and the 36 Taylor Morgans. I don't think Morgan's got as good of a lap the last time by here. Morgans has indeed been catching him, but it's been back and forth battle there of who's going to be faster on what lap between the 36 and the 14 and Colin Keister. This time by, now it's down to 0.51. So this time by, Taylor Morgans was a tick faster than the 14 and Colin Keister. These guys are both teammates, remember. They both know how each other drives, so it's going to be an interesting battle when Taylor Morgans is able to catch the 14 machine.
We'll have to see when it happens. There is one car really slow off the backstretch. Justin Malello definitely having some issues there. Almost, kind of interrupted the progress of the 14 of Colin Keister. There was definitely something happening to 53 there. But one observation I can make here, Todd, and we've talked about it many, many a times over the years. We don't use that Common Core math, so sometimes the math skills up here a little bit slow. But my observations of the first two runs of this race, well, pit road was open about 26-27 in lap 28 of a run. Well, most of these guys came in right around lap 80. So looking at the board, 109 on there. So that's about 28, 29 laps. I think we're going to see leaders on pit road anytime. And as I say that, I'm seeing tire smoke off of turn 4. So definitely going to see some of the likes of the race leaders coming on here. Sylvain's been on. Derek Just is also on. Corey Carpenter has also come in for 4 tires. So just as I said, thinking pit road is going to be open. Well, we've seen a lot of our leaders already come on and in and get their service. We'll see what these guys in the top 3 elect to do.
Yeah, the number 2, Tom Sylvain, already completed his service. The number 9 of Brandon Lawson, service has been completed on those cars. They took 4 tires. Leader getting ready to come down on the pit road here. Colin and Taylor almost making contact there as they come down on the pit road. So just waiting to see what kind of call you have there, Phil. Who do you have down there?
I got the Kit Kat Chevrolet of Taylor Morgan's. He's the first to that lead duo to his pit stall. Right side tire work is up in the air on that Chevrolet. Fresh, Kit Kat passed in through the window there. A little bit of splash of water in the cup. Left side tire is going in. Taylor Morgan's work. That is a awesome pit job for the pit stop for this crew. The Kit Kat Chevrolet. He's back to action.
Yeah, another end of the spectrum, the Oreo sponsor number 57 machine of Maverick Morrow. He took 4 tires. He's down and away. He's a little bit behind the 36, the Kit Kat machine of Taylor Morgan's.
Waiting the last of our leaders to come on to pit road. I believe the 74 of Blake McCandless and also the 71 of Chris Wetz. I believe those are the last 2 of our current leaders that have yet to find pit road. As we say that, the 71 Ford of Chris Wetz has found his way to pit lane. 55 miles per hour, the speed limit here at Kansas. The 71, he's on to the jack. Right side tires are in the air. Right side tire work looks like complete. They'll swing over to the left sides as well. It is a 4-tire pit stop on the Chris Wetz Ford. Looks like left sides are going on a little bit slow there in the left rear. Jack goes down, fuel is in. Chris Wetz will rejoin the waist here. We'll see where he sorts out.
They're going to have to see where he sorts out. The 74 Blake McCandless still out there on the speedway. Waiting for him. He's trying to conserve as much gas, I believe, in that 74 as he can. Try to wait out there just a little bit longer to make his pit stop a little bit shorter. They're indeed going to have to pit one more time, as these guys are going to have to come down on pit road one more time. It's just the length of the pit stop that's going to matter.
Another guy out there conserving fuel as I watch the guys that have just come off pit road. He looks like the 16 Bud Light Ford of Jason Justice. He may also be on that same strategy as I'm seeing him clutching really slow through these corners. We saw the, Matt Vassar's flash on by, Brandon Lawson, the 9. Those guys have come on around. We know those guys just come on pit road, but just like Blake McCandless, also looks like Jason Justice out there using the benefit of trying to stretch this fuel out, maybe make this thing, on one more stop from here. That'd be a long road to hoe, but certainly not impossible with now 115 laps on the board.
Yeah, certainly not impossible, as you're going to have to make one more pit stop, I believe, after this one, though. And you're trying to stretch it to do the length of it. As it looks like 74, Blake McCandless going to come down on the pit road this time by is Blake McCandless. Yep, and indeed he's going to do so. He gets a road down here to 45 miles an hour. He's going to come to the aid of his pit crew, so we're going to have to wait. Going to have to wait to see what happens. As the 74 of Blake McCandless now to his pit stall, as he's going to get right side tires on the number 74 machine, and then left side tires I believe is going to go on the 74 of Blake McCandless, so they're going to indeed jack it up now. Blake McCandless is going to be down and away here momentarily, but it's going to be an interesting strategy as he's going to actually have to shorten it just a little bit, and his last pit stop is going to be shorter here than the rest of these guys, so a little bit of strategy play on the 74 of Blake McCandless is, yes, they're indeed going to have to make it one more stop, but that last stop will be shorter than some of the other guys.
Oh, it certainly is. And I've been riding around the 16 of Jason Justice, who has now assumed the lead from everybody. He's yet to come to pit road. There's 50 laps remaining, and you got to think he's been out there for about, call it 35, 37 laps. So he would have to stretch it probably about 5 or 6 more laps. The way he's clutching, I got to assume, Todd, that's got to be impossible. I'm really puzzled knowing that it's going to be a shorter pit stop, but look at all the time he's surrendered out on the racetrack by using this strategy. I'm not sure I like that play whatsoever as Jason peels off the banking, but he's going to have to make at least one more stop anyway. Do you think he's maybe thinking about a caution flag, or what do you think they were thinking, him and maybe the likes of Blake McCandless staying out as long as they did?
Well, I'm thinking the shorter pit stop on the tail end of it. If he comes down and money stops the next stop, and then you got one more pit stop after that, I think they can make up that type of track time out there on the speedway. But then again, they could have been thinking the caution flag. But I think they're going to be okay there with the later pit stop. Maybe even a 2-tire call, make it even shorter than it's supposed to be there on the end of it. So you just have to wait and see what these guys are going to play out. If the yellow flag comes in, it's going to be one of those things that's going to throw a handkerchief into it.
Joe, what do you think of the strategy? Because I'm just listening to Todd explain what he's thinking, and I'm still shaking my head. I think I like those calls whatsoever. You got to stop at least one more time. Yeah, and maybe taking a little bit of fuel, but the time you surrendered on the racetrack, clutching and losing all those precious seconds, I don't know if I could justify making that call at all. What do you think?
Yeah, well, we've seen the pit window has been anywhere from 30 to 33 laps. I'm thinking the leaders who pitted earlier may actually be on a 2-stop strategy unless they try to save a little bit during this run. Blake McCandless and Jason Justice may be trying to make this on probably, well, it's going to take at least 2 more stops, probably a stop, and maybe just trying to shorten the distance on, their last pit stop. But either way, I mean, Jason Justice has now fallen a lap to the rear of the field. Blake McCandless was 35 seconds back on the tail end of basically on the tail end. He was right in front of Colin when he finally got off of pit road and got back going. So as a result of that, I mean, he was 30 some odd seconds off the race lead. Now 22. He's starting to gain a little bit of time with the lap times that he's running. But regardless of how that fans out, I just don't see him making up that much time on the last pit stop that he would have to make here at the end of the race. 2 tires or not, you're still going to give up time to the guys that are on 4 tires, and being 22 seconds back off the race lead, 2 tires isn't going to make up nearly enough time to put you anywhere remotely near the race lead by the time it's all said and done anyways. I'm not sure that I agree with staying out there. I think he gave up way too much time on the racetrack to guys like Colin Keister and Taylor Morgans here who are running 1-2.
Yeah, those guys have definitely been the strength of this field here tonight. Now up to a 6-second advantage of the top 2 over third place running Maverick Morrow. Derek Justice at number 31. He is currently 4th, and Brandon Lawson, he's comfortably now into P5. But looking at probably the best race on the racetrack there, Todd, I found a good race going on for about that 9th position. Brandon Hawken in the number 8 of Jordan Buster. Brandon spent about 2 or 3 laps trying to make his way around. He finally did, but that's probably, as I said, the best race I've seen on the racetrack here through these last 15 to 20 laps.
Yeah, I've been looking through the field and trying to find races throughout the field, and it's a difficult one to try to figure out who's racing pretty good, and a lot of these guys just stay in single file. But we're looking at Tom Sylvain, maybe the 17 of Matt Vassar. That one's going to start heating up as Sylvain's down on the bottom side, but Sylvain is indeed 1 lap down. So for that number 2 machine, so that's a different story. Is Sylvain is quite a bit faster than the 17 machine, but 1 lap down to the 17.
Yeah, we're just, as good broadcasters would, we're just kind of scanning all over the racetrack, trying to find a good battle going on. And just frankly, the way we've seen a long green flag run, a couple of rounds of green flag pit stops, I mean, these guys just literally sprinkled everywhere. The closest 2 on the racetrack are probably that for the race lead. It is currently Colin Keister is up there like he's been most of this evening. Taylor Morgan's his teammate right there, probably about 3 or 4 car lengths behind. But as far as guys racing for position on the racetrack, that is probably the best battle we got, Todd. And as of right now, 126 laps in. So now as we get down to a little outside of 40 laps to go, really not really a great battle at all. Probably the best one going on now is probably back just where we left off between the 199 of Brandon Hawken and the 8 of Jordan Buster. But that's racing all the way back for P9 now off of turn 2.
Yeah, racing back for position number 9. It's going to be interesting. Some of these guys, I'm listening to some guys starting to clutch here. I'm not going to quite give it away. It's Vassar now down to the bottom. The number 17 of Matt Vassar down to the bottom side of the speedway. Something when the mess got a little bit loose, and he's down to the apron there, able to keep it out of the wall and able to keep it out of somebody running out there on the track. But Vassar, something went awry in that number 17 Western Auto Ford Fusion.
Something definitely went wrong on Matt Vassar there. We'll have to update that situation as he may free fall back through the field. But as Joe was just talking in our other ear there, Todd, we may see a race for the lead happening here in a couple of laps as the 14 has started to drift up the racetrack a little bit, open the door for the 36. Now, knowing where the stead is as far as points goes, Taylor already comfortably into the next week's SRA round of 8, already with a win in his pocket. Colin does not have one, but Colin also in his own right, very comfortable in the point standings, coming in 4th this evening. So those guys may go out there and race for a win. And as we say that, the Kit Kat Chevrolet to the low side, we have our first league change in probably about 45 laps now. Is now the 36, I believe, for the first time tonight, is now up to the race lead.
Yeah, Taylor Morgans is indeed up to the race lead. Number 36 Kit Kat Chevrolet sponsored machine. He's able to pull a couple of car lengths on the 14 of Colin Keister. Is now Keister just sitting back there in that second spot. Just now he's going to have to play a little bit of catch up to the 36 of Taylor Morgans. But again, meanwhile, back through the field as it's strung out. We got 5.5 seconds to the third place car of 57 of Maverick Morrow. Then you got 8.18 to Derek Justice. Then you got 10 seconds back to the number 9 machine of Brandon Lawson. Then you got another 17 seconds back to Chris Wetz in the 71. The 30 of Corey Carpenter. He's 18 seconds back. The 199 the 199, Brandon Hawken is 8th. 9th is now the 74 of Blake McCandless. Blake McCandless, after fresh tires, 23 seconds back. And the 8 of Jordan Buster, also another 23 seconds back. That's your top 10. 23 seconds between the leader and 10th.
Yeah, just to update, some point scenarios just outside of 35 laps here remaining. Now we have to start focusing on, the playoffs. I mean, where do these guys sit as far as being in position, maybe being out of position? Where does the cut line currently exist? And just trying to do some quick math in my head, the cut line currently occupied by Chris Wetz. He got 4 points to the good on top of Corey Carpenter. Well, look out on the racetrack. Chris is currently 6th, Corey currently 7th. There's some good distance between them with one more pit stop left to make, but that's where the current cut line currently sits. Chris Wetz having a good run. Look behind Corey Carpenter in the standings. We find Andrew Swartz. Well, where is Andrew in the standings? You got to find him all the way back down to the 16th position. The 67 is one lap down, so Andrew needing badly needing a good run here tonight. Not quite doing so. Next in line, you find the likes of 74 of Blake McCandless. He's out, way on the outside looking in. Had to make up 16 markers on that cutoff line. He's behind the cutoff cars. Well, we find Blake, he's currently sitting in 9th. He's 23 seconds off the race lead. Badly needing to make something happen, use a little bit of different strategy. We'll have to see how that plays out. And you look all the way down to 12th place in line. Matt Vassar definitely needing a win here tonight to advance. Now looks like issues happening there in the Western Auto Camp. Matt has come to pit road. You look all the way in the standings now, Todd. You find Matt Vassar, a very strong car for the first opening laps of this race. Matt Vassar now 2 laps down in 20th, so it may be some tough sledding going on going forward. So just updating what the cut line is. Looking like the guys in front of Chris Wetz, the Maverick Morrows of the world. Maverick currently 3rd. Jason Justice had 23 points to the good, currently 6th. I mean, he's not having a bad run whatsoever. Jason currently out there 1 lap down, 13th. So you got to think the point cut line is going to be right around where that 30 and 71 currently lay. And as of right now, the 71 of Chris Wetz currently has that advantage.
Yeah, that's it's interesting to see some of these strategies. But the number 20 of David Schildhaus, he's 18th, and that's another guy but he was 27 points to the good. I don't think Schildhaus is in any type of danger, but that's not where he wants to be. I'm sure he's not very happy with that run. It's Schildhaus always liking to be up. He'd like to be winning this race in that number 20 machine, but not able to do so right now as he's mired way back. Like we said, 18th position with that number 20 machine, 2 laps down to the rears. Is now, meanwhile, the 14 of Colin Keister taking over the lead from the 36 of Taylor Morgans.
Yeah, we've talked about the same verse here tonight. These guys, huge Sen Motorsports teammates starting to make a good race of it up front. Maybe there was some team directive there. Taylor saying, Colin, let me lead a couple of laps. And Colin having, being the good teammate, maybe said, go ahead, Taylor, we'll give you the spotlight a little bit. But as we say that, Colin got to assert himself forward. 137 laps on the board. So we got an even 30 here, Todd. A dirty 30 on a Sunday night. Who's it going to be here? I think it's about time for our full velocity picks of the week. What do you think?
Yeah, indeed, it is time for our full velocity picks of the week. I'm gonna cue the YouTube chat box. You guys can pick right now. Get your picks out there as soon as we finish with ours. I'll make sure we announce them. Who's it gonna be here this evening? I'm gonna throw it down to I believe it was Joe who had the bad time last time. I can't remember now, and it's been too many beers this week, so I'm not 100% sure. But Joe, if I give you the pick early, I'm giving you the pick early, buddy. Take it away. Who's going to win?
Thank you, guys. I'm going to go ahead. Obviously the two favorites out there to win are Colin Keister and Taylor Morgan's in the 36s right there. Maverick Morrow still in contention, 6 seconds back. He just needs a caution to get himself back up there. But the person I'm going to go with, I'm sure the favorite pick, and I know you guys are going to be startled when I don't take him, is Colin Keister, who is now coming on pit road. This is close to the pit window, guys. Inside 30 laps, Colin and Taylor both down there. I was going to take the 36 of Taylor Morgan's. I think he's going to be the one to secure a win here tonight, guys, and beat his teammate Colin Keister.
Well, we're going to throw it to Phil. Phil, you get the second pick. Who are you going to pick?
Oh, buddy, you served me up one on a tee here. I think we're a little late with our picks, and I think the chat box will slaughter me for it. But, I mean, got to be like the Dallas Cowboys today. You got to take an easy W where it comes, and I'm going to take the 14 of Colin Keister. He's been up there with Taylor. Todd didn't want to take that second pick, but I think the 14 has shown all the muscle in the world. I think he's overdue to go back to victory lane. I think Colin Keister, it's not a trendy pick. He's led the most of this night, and I'm sure the guys are going to be like, come on, Phil, be brave. But I'm picking Colin to win this thing, Todd. So we got the top two. It's a big distance. We got green flag pit stops, but what do you think?
Well, we do have green flag pit stops happening. I see Brian Wolf picking the number 9 of Brandon Lawson. And then you got the 109 picking Blake McCandless. I do like Blake's strategy, but I'm not going to curse him. He's an announcer here in the booth. I'm not going to curse him. And I think who I'm going to go with here tonight, and I've talked about him tonight, and he hasn't led that much, but I think he's done a good job here this evening, and I'm going to go off on a limb, and that's the 57 of Maverick Morrow. He's been in the top 3. He's a third place guy before these green flag pit stops happen, so I'm going to go with him to be on the safe side and try to get that top 5 there for the points for our broadcaster thing. So I'm going to go with Maverick Morrow, who's third. I think he's got what it takes to win if maybe the 14 gets together with the 36. But the NASCAR 109 down there, I believe that's Blake's brother. He's picking Blake, and Brian Wolf picking Brandon Lawson. Any other of the picks down there in the YouTube chat box, go ahead, shout them out. Let us know who you got. Who's it going to be here tonight? The Kansas Shieldway Speedway, Kansas Speedway for that matter, here this evening. So who's it going to be?
There was $1 in the jar for every time we slaughtered that racetrack tag here tonight. I think Todd put his first $1 in the jar. I'm probably about $25 deep right now, but we'll have to see what's going to happen here as we're down to the last 25 laps of this thing. We're in the middle of green flag pit stops. I believe most of the leaders have already been on, but the likes of guys who have yet to come to pit road include those guys on that long strategy, like Blake McCandless, like Jason Justice, also Noah Carmichael is 76. We've not talked about Noah whatsoever here tonight, but Noah currently third. He's got his machine, on that elongated run. But as we say that, Noah's got that Dodge number 76, Todd, onto pit road. So he was having a good run. He got up there in third, but, these guys are all going to come onto pit road one more time. And, a 76 had us around a third spot, but he gave it a good little shot up there.
Yeah, indeed he did. As Noah Carmichael, always like to get some of those guys out there to have not been on Full Velocity Network a lot, and Noah Carmichael having a good run and running with these guys is no easy feat for that matter. So I'm yet to make a first FTF start, so I have not raced an FTF race yet, but one of these times I'll get it out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I got to put the challenge out there to anybody out there who may have never run a lap inside of FTF in part of this Jones Cup series. I mean, I've made I think I've made 2 starts this season, my very first 2, and anybody who thinks they have anything to challenge the top of the top as far as this community goes, you got to come out to this league on a Sunday night. You got to try to be a part of the series. I mean, top to bottom, the most competitive group of races in the entire NR2 on 3 community as we sit today. And I invite any of you guys who may want to come try your hand with the absolute top shelf of competition to come out here on a Sunday night and give this a try, because it is without a doubt the probably most competitive Cup Series league I've ever seen. I mean, you look at the names that come into this field, 20 to 25 cars strong here tonight. Guys can come in here and win from anywhere. We saw Ryan Araki, win last week. The first race of the season was won by Jake Pullen at Daytona. Jake made a rare start early on in the season. So it just shows the strength of the series. Guys can really come in and try their hand at any time. And we invite everybody to come in. And one of these days, Todd Stanton, when we have a Sunday night off, especially if we get into next season or whatnot, you got to come try this series. For a guy like yourself who's won races, for a guy like Joe who wins races, at a pretty, regular clip, this is a series, Todd, that can certainly humble you. I mean, I came out here and I finished 33rd one night, and I felt like I had won a race. So I got to invite you and anybody else out there listening, come out and give this series a try. It is, without a doubt, the top of the top as far as the best competition goes.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's a fantastic fantastic atmosphere. These guys compete with each other. You get your own little team rooms. That's different than a lot of leagues have, where your admins actually announce to all those rooms, so you don't have to yell and scream at each other besides your teammates. You don't have to yell and scream at the other drivers out there that are trying to get you out of their way, maybe on the speedway. So that's one of those interesting things. Now we're just waiting to see what the 74 Blake McCandless does, when he's going to come down on pit road. It's got to be very, very soon. That 74 machine is 13 and a half seconds back. Is Colin Keister.
Yeah, well, we'll have to update when Blake does end up coming onto pit road, as we're just out there, engaging with the guys in the YouTube chat box. But Blake has that advantage, 12 seconds, but there's 17 laps remaining. He's got to come to pit road one more time. You got to think at this point in this race, Todd, using this elongated strategy, he's got to be hoping for a quick caution flag and, pinning these guys a lap down. Because as it currently sits, with him not coming to pit road, we only have 5 cars left in the lead lap. So Blake has to be playing that strategy at this point. You got to think that's got to be what he's doing.
Yeah, well, he's trying to play strategy. He was in one of those must-win situations. It's like a lot like Matt Vassar, 16 markers out of it. So the 74 Blake McCandless just trying to do what he could do and trying to win a race and trying to get himself into that next round. But I don't know if he's coming to pit road or not. The 74 Blake McCandless.
He's been slow through the corners the last couple laps around. Got to think that fuel pressure got to be running out. He may be out in the back straightaway. That car has certainly just started to come to just a creepy crawl into turn 3. So current race leader Blake McCandless, do not think that car has power at all. So he's our current race leader. He's on that long strategy, but it looks like his chances of maybe trying to secure a win, they may have just gone dry here at Kansas here tonight, Todd.
Yeah, he did everything he could to try to win this race. He's still under power as the 74 Blake McCandless. He's woed himself down, so and he's just going to come down to his pit crew and fill it up and hopefully get some tires on there and make a run at it. But a tough break for Blake McCandless. Trying to stretch it out, trying to hope for that late race yellow, and it just didn't happen his way this time.
No, it certainly did. Just to update, as you looked at Blake, just to put the period on that last round of green flag pit stops, we saw Colin Keister and Taylor Morgans come in together. Taylor Morgan's commitment cone violation got him a 30-second penalty, and that's one of those things that can kill you late in the race, and it certainly has. We saw Taylor up there competing with his teammate for a win. Well, now by that 30-second penalty, Taylor Morgans is the first car 1 lap down, but he is currently in that 9th position. We've talked about it many, many a times there, Todd, that money stop at the end of the race. You can't afford any kind of mistakes. And unfortunately for Taylor, it may have cost him a win here tonight. If there's a silver lining for him whatsoever, he's one of those guys with that automatic win qualifier. He'll race on to Martinsville as part of the SRA Round of 8 next week. But it just shows one of those things. You cannot afford a late race mistake on pit road. And that may have cost the 36 yet another win here tonight.
Yeah, and thankfully it's not the last race of the season like we seen last year in the FTF Jones Cup, where commitment code violations destroyed a lot of championship hosts among the top competitors of last season. You can relive that moment on the old DRTV archives, but it's just one of those things that happens out there. You got to stay away from that commitment code, and pit road can make you or break you here in the same night. So Taylor Morgan's hopefully getting that worked out. I believe he's one of those guys that did make that commitment code violation there last year. So hopefully he's got that out of the system here for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I believe that championship race last year, Taylor made that critical mistake. Derek Justice made a late race mistake. Also believe it was Ryan Williams who made a mistake, and that handed the championship last year to the champ David Schildhouse. So maybe the likes of Taylor maybe getting that out of the way at Kansas. We'll have to see what happens. But looking at the front of the field now, Colin Keister has a humongous lead on the field, 7.7 seconds last time around, with a little less than 10 laps to go there, Todd. If this thing stays under the green flag, which it really feels like it's going to, Colin Keister, he missed maybe coasting the victory lane here in Kansas.
Yeah, I think he's indeed going to do so. Colin having a great run here, been dominant all evening long. He led 77 laps earlier. I'm sure that's well above 100 laps now, waiting to see what's happening. But he's been a rocket ship all evening long. He's been the man to beat. Pretty much can safely say that I don't think anybody's going to catch him if it stays green.
No, and just kind of scrolling on back through the field, trying to find a race here, maybe give you one more good race before we get to the closing laps of this one. Derek Justice is currently second. Maverick Morrill, the 57, is third. Those guys may, put on a good race, runner-up spot through the closing laps. It's about 5 car lengths, but lap cars in between. Maverick starting to lose a little bit of time there, so don't think it's going to happen there. Further on back, you got Brandon Lawson currently fourth. Corey Carpenter is having a good run fifth, but he's got a little bit of a battle on his hands as well. How about the run for the 199 of Brandon Hawk in there, Todd, making a rare appearance on a Sunday night here at FTF. Brandon, one of the cleanest, one of the fastest drivers this community has to offer. And look at him out here on a rare start on a Sunday night. He may be a couple of laps away from running in a top 5 here at FTF. That is not an easy thing to do. Great run for Brandon Hawken here tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good run for the 199 of Brandon Hawken. Chris Wetz, remember, the 4 points, the 30 of Corey Carpenter's 4 points below the cutoff line. I believe the 71 was 4 points above the cutoff line. So right now you got the 199 in between the 30 and the 71. I believe the 30 would make the SRA round of 8, and that's just an early judgment call here. The 71's got to do something, or hope the 199 of Brandon Hawken gets around the 30 of Corey Carpenter.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've looked more forward to a post-race sit-down with see if Justin wants to join us here this week, or if Kevin McAdams comes in and gives us the point update. But I can't wait to see where the stage is going to be set. Well, this SRA Round of 8 begins next week at Martinsville, and we'll be there live, flag to flag, next Sunday night with coverage there. And if these races have been any indication at all, move this series to the short track of Martinsville. That is going to be one fantastic race next week. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait to see where the SRA Round of 8 is going to take us here over these next couple of weeks. So let's, keep an eye on that moving forward. But next time around there, Todd, 164 laps going to go on the board. So I think we have a little less than 4 laps here left remaining. Colin Keister, poised to pick up yet another win in the Jones Cup Series. And what bigger way to do so, getting an automatic ticket into next week at Martinsville.
Yeah, that automatic ticket is important for that number 14 of Colin Keister, just showing that he can win these stages here and then go ahead and win the race with that 14 machine. Like I said, dominant car all evening long, and definitely showed some muscle here tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Martinsville, see what he can do at Martinsville. But it seems like these guys have been really good at these 1.5 mile tracks, the 14 and the 36 of Taylor Morgan's.
Oh, sorry there, Todd. Not sure if you left me off on a thought or whatnot, but great battle going on for that 5th spot here in these closing laps. Brandon Hawken has found Corey Carpenter at number 30. That's the best race on the Speedway. That's going on for that 5th position. It's about 2 car lengths to 30 up the hill. Here comes the 199. One last call for position. Great race for 5th as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, definitely a great race for that 5th spot. Remember, Chris Wetz is running in that 7th position. So if they put Corey Carpenter back to 6, that may put Chris Wetz right back into that SRA round of 8. So Brandon Hawkins right now, and nobody can be a bigger fan of him than the number 71 machine. Corey Carpenter trying to do everything he can do to be able to keep him at bay, but Brandon Hawkins back down to the bottom side in that 199 machine. The 30 Corey Carpenter up on the top side by side here, coming down into turn number 3. Corey Carpenter has the position, but Brandon Hawkins fighting heavy on the bottom side for his first, trying to get his first top 5 here in the FTF Jones Cup Series.
Yeah, having a great run there, side by side. Next time around, Todd, if you can believe it, we're going to be coming to the white flag. One more lap around. It's going to be a coronation lap for the number 14 of Colin Keister. Great race going on behind him as well for that 5th spot. Great race going on around for the runner-up position between the 31 of Derek Justice, the number 57 of Maverick Morrow. But, we got to focus on the last lap here. The race leader, he's got a tremendous lead out there through turns number 3 and 4 for the last time. Checkered flags in the air. It's going to be Colin Keister picking up the win here at the Kansas Speedway.
You have Colin Keister, but meanwhile back here battling for that 5th spot. And I want to keep covering this 5th spot between the 199 of Brandon Hawkins and the 30 of Corey Carpenter. I believe this has championship implications here for the SRA round of 8. Is Brandon Hawkins working on the bottom side. Corey Carpenter up top here in that number 30 machine. Brandon Hawkins fighting side by side here, coming off of turn number 4. Brandon Hawkins looks like he's going to be able to. Oh, Brandon Hawkins makes contact with Corey Carpenter, but put Hawkins to that 5th spot. So Corey Carpenter drops back to 6th.
Wow, that may have been a move with championship implications, as you said. Chris Wetz will finish up 6th. Or Corey Carpenter is 6th. Chris Wetz going to finish up 7th. Taylor Morgan's 8th. Matt Durr 9th. And Jordan Buster is going to run out our top 10. So we'll move this on to the post-race show as Colin Keister is going to make a visit to Victory Lane. He'll visit Joe Allen down there. Derek Justice, Maverick Morrow, they'll also join us on the podium. Brandon Lawson going to finish up 4th tonight. And then that great battle for 5th there, Todd, between Brandon Hawkins and Corey Carpenter. As you said, that may have championship implications on it. And, of course, we'll catch up with either Justin or Kevin in the post-race show, and we'll see just how many implications that had toward the championship.
Yeah, definitely going to have to see. Like you said, I think it was 4 markers that separated Corey Carpenter and Chris Wetz of 71 machine. So, and Wetz finished 7th. 6th was Corey Carpenter. I cannot remember the stage points, so I'm not going to venture off and say either one of those won. This is going to be probably one of the most sought after post race that I really want to hear who's going to be here in the SRA round of 8 here come Martinsville next week here live on the Full Velocity Network as Colin Keister burning him down on the front stretch there in the number 14 amp energy sponsored machine. So great win to Colin Keister here this evening.
Oh, it certainly was here. We'll move on to the Full Velocity post-race show. The Joe Nemecheck won here once, 400K from the Kansas House Shieldway here tonight at FTF, the Jones Cup Series. Colin Keister going to go to Victory Lane, pay a visit to Joe. I'll see if I can't run down there and maybe catch up on runner-up finisher Derek Justice. But I'm going to throw it first over to my broadcast partner, Todd Stanton. I believe, Todd, you've caught up with the driver of the Oreo Chevrolet. That's Maverick Morrow. He'll finish up 3rd here tonight.
Yeah, indeed. I've caught up with the 57 of Maverick Morrow, having another good points night here. And Maverick, great race. I got to pick you. I said you've been consistent all evening long, and you come up 3rd here tonight, and another good points night for you.
Yeah, that was the goal. Came in 7th, not too far above the cutoff line. I think I was only 12 points to the good, so played it conservative, getting onto pit road every time under green flag stops. Tried to be real careful going down pit road, and just played it smart. All I needed was a good top 5 finish, and I knew I'd be all set.
Oh, and you did get that top 5 finish and finishing on the podium here in 3rd, Maverick, and looking to the SRA round of 8. I believe you've made it to the SRA round of 8. Just looking at where you finished, because you were 12 markers above that cutoff line. But looking forward to the SRA round of 8. Do you have any particular track that comes to mind here in the next 3 that you're going to like more than others to maybe even pick up a win on?
Phoenix actually has been one of my best tracks lately. I've really enjoyed running that track, but Martinsville's a good track for me sometimes, but there's a lot of chaos could happen there. So Phoenix, is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most.
I've asked that question time and time again to all the guys that have made the next round or been up here on the podium. What track they look for most to, and yeah, that's an interesting pick. Phoenix, not one of my favorite tracks. I think I would pick Martinsville over that one, but I understand where the chaos can happen at Martinsville. But Maverick, I'm going to give the microphone. The floor is all yours. Thank whoever you'd like to thank here this evening.
I'd just like to thank all the admins at this league. They put on a really good race tonight. It was a really good track and setup combination, made for some great racing. We could run side by side, and we got spread out there and had a lot of green flag laps, so that was nice not to have a lot of cautions and stuff. So just thank them for all their hard work, and my crew for giving me a good car, and for you guys, for coming in, putting this broadcast on for the league.
Again, that's driver of the Oreo sponsor machine. That's Maverick Moore on the 57, bringing home third place tonight. Again, congratulations on that third place finish, and I believe into your berth of the SRA round of 8.
Oh yeah, we should be in, no problem.
I'm going to throw it down to Phil, who's caught up with our second place finisher here tonight. Derek Justice, he was kind of quiet all evening long, but brings it home second here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely had a quiet evening indeed, but certainly going to be really happy to have himself back on the podium here this evening. And Derek, man, you bring that home in the second spot tonight. Colin was certainly a rocket ship, but you got to be happy having that runner-up finish to your credit here.
Yeah, it was a good run for the Baskin-Robbins Full Fusion. Got behind the 8 ball early, speeding in the pits, and just had a never give up attitude. And I think we got the lucky dog there, and I think we restarted 18th and got all the way to second. So I'll take it. And I mean, I know Maverick's fighting me hard for that third spot, but him race clean. Colin, he's the guy that didn't make any mistakes today, and it proved it right there. He, about a 10-second lead when he took the checker flag, so props to him. And we'll move on to next week in Martinsville. It's going to be a good one.
Well, Derek, I mean, you talked about getting that pit road speeding penalty early. We saw Taylor Morgans do it late. You're a guy who unfortunately knows well too well what that late race mistake on pit road can make, or how much that can put you behind the 8 ball. As you move on to the SRA round of 8 starting next week at Martinsville, I mean, how much does that play into the back of your mind, or just how conservative are you going to be going forward, getting on and off to pit road, knowing that, just a critical mistake? I mean, it can completely destroy your championship chances, especially with the talent of drivers you're going to have around you here for these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, with Phoenix and Martinsville, you got track position is going to be key. You really want to qualify up front, top 5 at least, and we're going to do a lot of practice on hot lapping because we want to get a good starting position, so we won't be behind traffic. It's hard to pass in Martinsville, but Texas, on the other hand, a new configuration coming in 2 weeks, I believe. So we'll see how that's going to go. But next 3 tracks are pretty good for me. I really like Martinsville. I know about last year. I felt really good. So but this past spring, I don't even know what happened this spring. But let's look ahead and let's look at Martinsville and see what we got.
I can't wait to see where that's going to take us next week. We're going to see a whole lot of Martinsville here over the next week. But Derek, as always here on Full Velocity, we're going to give you the microphone one more time. I know you got a lot of people out there who watch you tune in to keep on the progress of that 31 week after week. So take a minute and give a shout out to everybody out there who may be watching us live.
Yeah, I just shout out to you all for Full Velocity Network for putting these races on, and FTF administration, do whatever they can to put out a good product. Tonight's track and setup was really good. Shout out to all my viewers on Twitch that watched me today. That was really cool to see. Had a pretty good amount of viewers and chatting along. That was cool. And all the other NR 2003 streamers that stream on Twitch and YouTube and keeping this community alive. So props to everybody on YouTube chat and Full Velocity Network. Yeah, that's all I got about to say. And then next week's gonna be some more drama implications, I'm sure, at Martinsville.
Oh, absolutely right. Well, Derek, once again, buddy, congratulations. Runner-up finish here tonight, but got to give you something going in the right direction here as you head to Martinsville next week. So I'm sure we'll be talking to you here a lot here over the next couple of weeks. So congratulations once again, buddy, on a good run.
All right, thanks. So.
All right, Derek Justice bringing the thing home in that second spot here tonight, but I'm going to throw it down to victory lane. I think Joe Allen is down there again, and Joe, you're making this almost routine lately going down there. You talk to the likes of Taylor, and now once again you get his teammate Colin down there in victory lane. So, Joe Allen, take it away down there in victory lane.
Thank you, Phil. It seems to be a growing trend here. The huge Send Motorsports team, arguably going to be one of the favorites coming down to championship weekend in 4 weeks here. But tonight, it's the Colin Keister show, as it was for most of the night. Colin, tell us about it. It looked like the setup was right in your wheelhouse, and you went out there and led almost 120 laps and just in dominant fashion all night long. Tell us about it, bud.
Oh yeah, that was a good race. I couldn't believe I was that fast, honestly. I thought there would be more contenders. But Taylor seemed to be, he was up there for a while there, but he got unsafe pit entry, I guess. Our last pit stop there, and that kind of messed him up. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, we saw that with Taylor. He looked like to be the only guy that can contend with you, but at the end of the day, Taylor already had a win, so this was more about making sure that you advanced, although you were pretty much in on points anyways. But to go out there and, put up a dominating statement like you did tonight and show that, you're a contender just about anywhere we go on the schedule and, never count you out, and you made that more than clear during the regular season as well. But looking forward to the next 3 weeks here, we visit the likes of Phoenix and Texas and Martinsville. What track do you feel like you have the best shot at potentially securing a win there and, securing that, ever elusive spot into ASUS championship night here in 4 weeks?
I would say my best chance is probably Phoenix, but I think I've got a pretty decent chance at all 3 races.
Okay, well, hey, that's the confidence we like to hear from our championship contenders, Colin. As the tradition goes, you know it as well as anybody else. I'm going to give the mic to you. Anybody that may be watching this that you want to give a shout-out to and, who may be watching this live or will watch the archive back, sir, the floor is all yours.
Oh, yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys again for coming out and broadcasting these races. It's pretty cool. And all the admin staff putting on a good show. And my teammates, Blake and Taylor. And old Tom, he's in there racing with us too. And that's about it.
All right, guys, that's our race winner here, Colin Keister, securing that spot into the SRA Round of 8 with his win tonight. And looking forward to the next 3 rounds, and I'm sure, we may more than likely see him, in there for ASUS Championship night. So congratulations again to Colin Keister and that huge Send Motorsports team from all of us here at the Full Velocity Network. But Phil, Todd, I know you guys have a special visitor back up into the booth, Justin Malillo, with our exciting points shakeup, and I'm sure he's ready to go with the shakeup and the points and who's going to be advancing into the SRA Round of 8. So back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, Todd Stanton, do you like playoffs? I know we like playoffs. Justin Malillo, elimination night at the Kansas Speedway, my friend. We talked about that battle for 5th in the closing laps between Brandon Hawken and Corey Carpenter. We talked about that may have championship implications. So, my friend, without further ado, how many implications did that pass for that 5th position really have in those closing laps?
Well, there were really not a lot of implications tonight, and I'm thankful for the small amount of implications. Yeah, it was 1 point that Corey lost, but Corey needed a lot more than just that 1 point, unfortunately, to make it to the next round. So going through the top of the list, though, we got Taylor and Colin. They both won races this stage. They're moving on. Derek Justice, he was 3rd. Kevin McAdams, he was 4th. Maverick Morrow, David Schildhouse, Jason Justice, and Chris Wetz round out the 8 that are going to move on to the SRA Round of 8. Now, Wetz, he was able to beat Corey by 13 points. And the reason he got that many points? Stage points. He was able to get 8 in the first stage, and I believe he was able to get 6 in the second stage. And that was just enough to give him... He had a 13-point advantage. He got 14 points in the stages. You really can't say that the stage points don't matter because they definitely mattered there. Corey was the first guy out. He was 13 points behind. And then we had Andrew Schwartz, Blake McCandless, and Matt Vassar. All 3 of those guys pretty much needing a win to be able to advance after last week's mayhem at Talladega. And they unfortunately weren't able to be up there. Colin, just put on a clinic for everybody out there tonight. So congrats to Colin. Congrats to the 8 drivers that are moving on to the SRA round of 8. And thank you guys for putting on another great broadcast.
But we appreciate that, Justin. As we look forward now, you get 3 really good racetracks with Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix. So, knowing here, being the guy in charge at FTF and seeing just about every lap these guys have made in competition this year, through these next 3 racetracks, looking at those 8 drivers, who do you like to come out of there? Who's going to be our final 4 at Homestead in a couple of weeks?
Well, it's you really can't put your finger on it. These playoff points will help, especially Taylor. He's going to have the most out of anybody. Colin now is going to have the second most playoff points with his win tonight, and I think he got a stage win too. So those 2 are looking better than everybody else. Then for third and fourth, it really is anybody's game. It could go down to, whoever has better luck than somebody else. You saw in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series today, Kyle Larson had all those stage points in the bank, and just one engine failure took him out of 10 points out of it. So anything can happen for I'd say for third or fourth. It's not a lock that Taylor or Colin going to make it in either, but I would say that those 2 are a safe bet, and then the rest it's an open field.
Well, buddy, as always, thanks for the insight. Thanks for the points update, and we got a couple more times left to do this, my friend. So great job as always, being Johnny on the spot with those calculations afterward. And I can't wait to do this again next week. It's been a lot of fun, brother. Thank you again.
Absolutely, guys. I don't think we've ever had a Martinsville broadcast before that I've been a part of. So I'm nervously looking forward to that. So see you guys next week.
All right, my brother. Well, we'll bring the popcorn next week, Todd. We'll bring the drama, the implications, and thinking of Martinsville this coming week. Not only do we get to see it here, next week at FTF, we also got the SRA 711 Super Truck Series here on Wednesday night, and they're full on in playoff mode as well. So we're going to see a whole lot of great championship racing from Martinsville this next week, and it's going to be an awful lot of fun.
It's indeed going to be an awful lot of fun here this evening. Going to see these guys. This guy's going to be going a little bit slower at Martinsville, but you almost have the drama of like a Talladega. These guys' tempers will flare at short tracks, and Martinsville is one of those guys that could be another game changer. And then you go from Martinsville to Phoenix. Phoenix is a technical track, and it's a really tough track, and some of these guys do like that track, and I don't. And then you go to Texas. Texas is a track that pretty much is a pretty good track all the way around, and produces some good racing. I'm not saying the other tracks won't, but those are pretty technical tracks, the first 2, Martinsville and Phoenix.
Oh, they certainly are. So we're going to see some really good racing here over the next couple of weeks, right here live on the airwaves of the Full Velocity Network. So next up, coming Wednesday night, we return to the SRA 711 Super Truck Series at the Martinsville Speedway. We'll be there live, flag to flag, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time will be airtime for us Wednesday night. So for that, of course, back here next week at the Martinsville Speedway, the FTF Jones Cup Series, we start the SRA Round of 8. So a full week of racing at Martinsville coming up, and then a lot of great stuff coming up in the coming weeks. We pay visits back to the iRacing community at the All-Star Racing Group, the All-Star Spooktacular 100 from Talladega, also dates with All-Star Racing, the 2K3 clan, David Shin, Gary Mingus, all the guys over there. So many great things coming up in the next few weeks. And of course, for our full schedule and to book your date, head over to our home base, fullvelocitynetwork.com. So until next time, till Wednesday night, for Joe Allen, the best of the best at the controls this business has to offer, Todd Stanton, my longtime partner. I can't ask for anything better up here in the booth. Really spoiled. Phil LeCasse here, going to sign off for this week. And thank you out there, everybody in YouTube land, for being with us here tonight, enjoying the ultimate esport experience right here live on Full Velocity. We'll see you next time.